so Neeraj is to come for that.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
I think Professor Neeraj has also visited IITM more than for the Gyan course, I think.
We also came, multiple times,
Yes, sure.
Because we have this dual PhD program between Michigan State and IIT Madras. So
correct.
You are still continuing as the head of the department, Neeraj?
Yes. Unfortunately.
Manu is in the shoes now.
Retirement seems such a distant dream right now.
Dr. Velmurugan is a chief scientist at Central Road Research Institute. He works on road safety.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, Professor Sigdar consented to talk, but he is indisposed. So yesterday I was talking to Dr. Velmurugan. I requested Dr. Velu to step in. He readily agreed and saved us. Otherwise, you're wondering how to manage the road safety talk. Another 5 minutes to go. We'll wait for some more to join. 46 are joined. Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that I have apologized. This is 6:30 our time in the morning, so
I know that.
Around 8:30, I need to go and teach. So I would stay the first 2 hours, but after that, unfortunately.
Okay.
Maybe they make the video and I can see it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Sir, she'll just join, sir. Just 2 minutes, sir. She'll join.
Okay, fine. I saw her name, so I thought she had joined.
Yeah, sir. I have just made an arrangement. I just want to check. That's why.
Okay, fine. Right. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Professors, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
To hide one portion, one is it is coming in the way of the total image.
Yes, sir.
More, learn more. Stop video.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sirs.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Fine, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you. So Sikdar has joined.
That's great.
Sir, we did not want to disturb you because you are indisposed. It is, sir. We are worried about your health.
Well, I am okay. I was released yesterday evening from the hospital.
Okay.
They did angiography and then did some angioplasty as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, these days, medical science is such that they don't do anything from outside.
Okay.
You can be back to your comfortable kind of thing.
We thought that you are still in ICU.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sir, can we start? Professor Veeraragavan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the speakers, colleagues, students, friends, and participants. I'm Surendra Singh, an assistant professor in the Division of Transportation Engineering, Department of Civil Engineering at IIT Madras, Chennai. On behalf of the organizing committee, I welcome you all to this international online workshop on pavement engineering and road safety theory to practice, honoring Professor A. Veeraragavan on his superannuation. Now I request our head of the Transportation Laboratory, Professor Geeta Krishnan Ramadurai, to officially welcome Professor Veeraragavan, the speakers, and all participants. Professor Geeta Krishnan.
Thank you so much. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for this event. This is one of its kind, once in a lifetime. Our most esteemed Professor Veeraragavan is superannuating, and it's befitting that we have panelists from across the world, given his impact in the area of pavement engineering and road safety. Right, it has spanned countries and spanned decades. So Professor Veeraragavan was born on 15th August 1956, 9 years after India got independence. Right, so in a small town called Karuvarakkara. I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
Near Mayiladuthurai. Right? And he attended high school in Chidambaram, and later on got his BE from Annamalai University in 1978, and got his MTech from our own IIT Madras in 1980, and subsequently a PhD from Bangalore University in 1990. Right. So if I have to read about his accomplishments, it's a very long list. I won't have time to go over the complete list. But what I thought I would highlight are some of his personal aspects, right? Because definitely his family has supported him for all these years, help him achieve where he is, right? He's married to Sasikala. They got married in the year 1985, and they have two children, Mr. Ramanan and Mr. Ramkumar, and both of them are in the US right now, married. Mr. Ramanan is married to Archana, and Mr. Ramkumar is married to Aarti. And besides this, Professor Veeraragavan also loves to travel. He loves reading and gardening. Right? All of these are his hobbies. In terms of his accomplishments, he is recipient of several awards. The list is so long that I think after a point in time, the awards were given so that the awards can be risen in stature. It was not to recognize Professor Veeraragavan. It was rather to recognize the awards itself, that it was given to a person like Veeraragavan. The award stature has risen. All right. Just to mention a few, he's received the IRC, Indian Roads Congress Jawaharlal Nehru Birth Centenary Award for outstanding contribution in the field of highway engineering in India. He has won multiple Indian Roads Congress medals for best papers, 6 times in fact, several IRC commendation certificates for his research papers, 5 times in fact. He is also a recipient of the UGC Career Award for Young Teachers and IST National Award for Promising Engineering College Teachers in India. I think this must have been in his early career. And he has also been given the Vishwakarma Award under the category of Outstanding Academician, Technologist, Scientist, Innovator, led by the Construction Industry Development Council. He is a fellow of the Institution of Engineers, fellow of the International Society of Engineering Asset Management. He is a member, a honorary member also of several, Government of India organizations and programs, and the list goes on. Right? We all know him. Besides all of this, he is a wonderful human being, always ready to help, especially youngsters. Anytime we can walk in, get his advice, and it's with a lot of emotion that we are celebrating his superannuation today. He'll be with us, of course, for another year. But yes, beyond that, also we hope we'll continue to receive his blessings and guidance. So with that brief introduction, I hand it over back to Dr. Surendra.
Thank you, Professor Geeta, for welcoming all. Now I request our head of the department, Professor Manu Santhanam, to read the official retirement citation.
Thank you, and good evening, good afternoon, and good
One
morning
second,
to all.
Professor Manu. Selvam will be sharing the PPT. We made a PPT for
Sure,
it.
sure.
Selvam, can you do it?
Superannuating.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, Professor.
So, yeah, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all of you who are with us today. Indeed, I continue. Okay, there seems to be some disturbance. If people can mute themselves.
No, superannuation.
Can you?
So you can mute everybody. Yeah.
Please mute everyone. Okay, let me start again. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all people attending this event. Indeed, I have to first congratulate my colleagues in transportation engineering, particularly Dr. Surinder Singh, for having organized an apt event for a person who is known to all of us as one of the best academics we have on the campus, especially a very passionate teacher and a person who has influenced several people in the transportation engineering realm all across India. And the fact that so many of stars of transportation, especially pavement engineering, have joined us from across the world today is testament to what Professor Veeraragavan has achieved in his career. For IIT Madras, we also had an official function this morning where I read out the same citation that I'll be reading to you. But Selvam, who's working with Dr. Surinder as a PhD scholar, has helped in actually capturing some of these moments in pictures. So whatever I'm reading out from the official citation will be described to you in pictures, and it'll be a very apt sort of a gift for Professor Veeraragavan to. Of course, he knows what he's achieved, but to all of you, it'll be interesting to associate what I'm reading out with the pictures that you actually see in the slide presentation. So let me share the official citation with you. So I'll be reading it out, and as I'm reading it out, I guess you'll actually see the pictures on the screen. So I'll read out from a different screen. So kindly pardon me if I'm not looking at the screen here. So yeah. Professor A. Veeraragavan joined the services of the Institute as a professor on 18th May 2004. Prior to joining the Institute, he served as an associate lecturer at Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai, then research scientist at Bangalore University, lecturer at Regional Engineering College, Trichurapalli, and finally lecturer and reader at the University of Visvesvaraya College of Engineering in Bangalore University. He received BE in Civil Engineering from Annamalai University in 1978, MTech from IIT Madras in 1980, and PhD from Bangalore University in 1990. During his 17 years of service at IIT Madras, Professor Veeraragavan trained a generation of highway engineers. He taught two important subjects in pavement engineering, that is, pavement construction technology and pavement management, throughout his term at the department. These courses were widely appreciated by all the students from within and outside transportation engineering. His connect with practice brought about clarity in his handling of the subject. Additionally, he has also guided several students to their research degrees. The teacher-student bonding between Professor Veeraragavan and his students has been noteworthy, and many of them, even after years of graduation, keep coming back seeking advice on professional activities. Professor Veeraragavan's books on highway engineering, highway materials and pavement testing, surveying, and pavement drainage theory and practice are widely referred to by students in several colleges and universities, and also by the practicing engineers. He has published over 200 research papers in national and international journals and conference proceedings. Professor Veeraragavan is a fellow of the Institution of Engineers India and a fellow of the International Society for Engineering Asset Management. Professor Veeraragavan has handled various department and institute responsibilities with his characteristic efficiency, notably as head of the Transportation Engineering Division, coordinator for the dual degree program, and mainly as a chairman of the engineering unit from 2011 to 2015. Notable buildings in the campus of IIT Madras that were constructed during his tenure include Sabarmati Hostel, Shopping Center, community hall, and bus depot. Several sports facilities like the swimming pool, skating rink, etc. were renovated. He contributed to the construction of the synthetic track in the stadium and the rehabilitation of the campus roads. He also introduced performance-based housekeeping services in the institute in 2015. He has continued to play a key advisory role in the various infrastructure-related activities in the institute for all the years that he has been here. This includes providing technical advice to the various road-related activities and the currently constructed in and out gate of the institute, which incidentally he also has in his backdrop. I see that Professor Veeraragavan is having the picture from the gate as the backdrop. Right. So he has also carried consultancy and sponsored research projects at IIT Madras. Some of the sponsored research projects include development of warrants for the use of bituminous binders and bituminous pavements, sponsored by DST, investigation of field performance of bituminous mixes with modified binders, sponsored by MORTH, and development of unmodified bitumen specifications by India, sponsored by DIS, to mention a few. Professor Veeraragavan has played a stellar role in imparting technical awareness related to pavement engineering for the Indian highway engineers. These include various training programs for practicing engineers from Highways Department to faculty members from various engineering colleges across the country. He has established strong linkages with the road construction industry. He is an independent director in 3 subsidiary companies, as well as the holding company of L&T IDPL. He was awarded 12 medals and commendation certificates for outstanding and highly commended research papers by the IRC. He is a member of the National Panel of Experts for Value Engineering Program to promote new materials and technologies in road construction, member of the Highway Research Board, Flexible Pavements Committee, Composite Pavements Committee, Road Maintenance and Asset Management Committee, and Highway Specifications and Standards Committee of the Indian Roads Congress. He is also a member of the Standing Advisory Committee of the National Rural Infrastructure Development Agency on the use of new materials and technologies in rural road construction. He has been bestowed with many honors for his accomplishments, and prominent among them include the CIDC's Vishwakarma Award for Outstanding Academician. Professor Veeraragavan is well known within and outside of India as a practicing highway engineer par excellence. He has served as a member of the Research Council of Central Road Research Institute, chairman of the Research Council of National Transportation Planning and Research Centre, Trivandrum, and as member of the Academic Committee of Kerala Technological University. Professor Veeraragavan is known for his pleasing manners and the grace with which he has carried forward his role as a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering. His presence will be missed in the department and institute. We convey our deepest appreciation for his yeoman service to the institute. The faculty, staff, and students of IIT Madras in general, and the Department of Civil Engineering in particular, wish Professor Veeraragavan a long, happy, healthy, and prosperous future and success in all his endeavors. So that was the official citation. I must also add on a personal note that Professor Veeraragavan has always been around for advice, and he's always gone out of his way to help everybody in the department, whether it be a senior professor or a youngster who's just joined the department. And his words always carry a lot of weight because he speaks from his vast experience that he has and years of training as a highway engineer. And again, I repeat this, it's a testament to his abilities and success in his career that I see this platform with so many experts from around the world. So thank you, Professor Veeraragavan, for your services to the department. And we'll really miss you. Of course, we won't miss you because we'll keep on calling upon you for issues that we need your help and expert advice on. But yes, it's been a pleasure knowing you. And I personally wish you and your family all the very best.
Thank you
for a
very
very
much.
happy retired life.
Thank you, Manu. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Manu. Now I request our first speaker, Professor Sohail Nazarian, who is a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at the University of Texas at El Paso, USA, to please deliver a talk on the topic asphalt pavements theory to practice. Sir, if you can start sharing the screen. Professor Nazarian.
Yes, good morning all. Let me share my screen and we would start in a second.
Sir, one more thing, I request the participants, if you have any doubts on the delivered topic, you can type your questions in the chat box, and at the end of the talk, Professor Nazarian will be answering to questions in the chat box only. Thank you. Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay, good morning, good evening, everybody. You know, it's such a pleasure to be here after listening to Dr. Veeraragavan's credentials. You know, even though I'm older than him, I still have to work another 10, 15 years. Maybe I can catch up a little bit, not fully, you know. I have the pleasure of working with him for a long time, and I have had the pleasure of having some of his students coming here and working with us, and it's always has been a pleasure. I guess this is the first time I believe I was in India with Professor Veeraragavan. You see that he is sitting over here, and he hasn't changed a bit in the last 2 decades. Okay. The last time I was there, and I had the pleasure of interacting with him, was in 2016 as part of the GEON course that, you know, we had a great time along with Dr. Rajiv Malik, you know. And every time I come over there, you know, I have a wonderful time. I was asked to talk about asphalt pavements and theory to practice, and I just took a special topic, which is very hot, and I'm sure that, you know, Dr. Veeraragavan is in the middle of it, and that's a balanced mix design that is just cutting on fire everywhere. And just want to discuss that. Look forward to your question. So the focus of my presentation would be the overview of the balanced mix design concept and highlights of some of the research, you know, related to the formulation of balanced mix design, influence of design variables, and the specification. And right now we are working around 12 different projects instead of Texas, comparing different scenarios of balanced mix design, and a tool or prototype. And finally, the key findings. Balanced mix design has been here for a long time. The concept, basically, the Federal Highway Administration in the US, they define it as using performance tests to ensure that the multiple modes of distress are addressed and eliminated during the mix design. Essentially, there are 3 different ways of doing it. It started with volumetric design with performance variation. You basically design based on the volumetric traditional way, and then basically make sure that it works. And if it doesn't, then you just go and reformulate. It can be based on the performance design alone, and that's essentially you make sure that, you know, you don't crack or the mix is not crack susceptible, rot susceptible, and you ignore the volumetrics, and that's essentially have one concern, and that's constructability. I think the one that most people are following is the performance modified volumetric design, where you get the initial asphalt content from the volumetric, and then you start working with the performance, and you change the constituents till you get the performance right. So basically the theme is designing mixes intelligently for intended use. That's what we define it. Of course, the 2 modes of failures that we're trying to eliminate was cracking and rotting for the hot mix asphalt. So in terms of the performance, we want to balance cracking and rotting so that we don't want either one of them. And we want it a balanced way. And what I would suggest over here and what I would follow is basically, I as a geotechnical engineer who happens to be doing pavement engineering, I want to maximize grain-to-grain contact and minimize the influence of the binder. So this is the theme that I'm gonna follow from here. So as I mentioned, we're gonna start working more on looking at the gradation than manipulating the type of the binder that you're going to use, simply because 95% or let's say 5% of the mix is a binder, and a significant part, more than 90%, is aggregate. So I think we feel that you can do a lot more potential by changing the gradation as opposed to manipulating the binder. And the two tests that we were using in Texas is overlay tester for cracking, and essentially this is the only cyclic test that is done for the characterizing the cracking. And we're going to use the Hamburg wheel tracking device, which is basically a roller going, a metal wheel going over the specimen and generating rotting. So as soon as I start talking about optimizing gradation, everybody talks about the Bailey method. Bailey method was an excellent way of getting a nice gradation as long as you were concerned with the volumetrics, not the performance. So that Vavrick was the first one that was published on this one. And basically what we have a primary sieve, and that separates coarse and fine aggregates. And then what we were just trying to do, we just have 4 areas in the gradation, and depending on the volumetrics, we can just basically manipulate the gradation. So these 4 regions are defined by 4 parameters: is the coarse fraction, coarse aggregate ratio, and all the way to fine fraction of the fine aggregates and the coarse fraction of the fine aggregates. And we know how this is going to change the volumetrics. We want to take it one step above that, and that's where I'm talking about the plus, and that has to do how they impact the performance. Nobody knew how it impacts performance. So we started a study over here, looking at the volumetric properties as a function of PCS, and basically what you would see in terms of the volumetric as we expected, the different materials different to the different aggregates slightly differently. So basically the optimum asphalt content decreases as the PCS gets bigger, and then the VMA, the void in mineral aggregates, also decreases as the PCS goes up to different degrees, and the same thing with the VFA and the AFT. So these are well known and just verified, but now the question is, how do these parameters like PCS would impact the properties? So if you look at it, as the PCS goes up, the tensile strength increases. If the PCS increases, in terms of the rotting, the normalized rot resistance over here, that's a number that we get from the Hamburg wheel tracking device, and if it's over 1, it's okay. If it's below 1, is not okay. You see that there is a maximum, and then when you increase the PCS, it's going to get lower. There are 2 parameters that comes out of the overlay tester. One is the critical fracture energy. The higher, the better. We would like to be between 1 and 3, and you see that it increases generally. And the crack propagation rate, that shows you how fast the crack would propagate, and the lower that number, the better. So you see that as the PCS goes up, we are getting closer and closer to a crack susceptible material. So if you just want to look at it from different tests, now we can manipulate the mix to either accentuate the indirect tensile strength or the rotting or the BMA, and we can manipulate different parameters to get different results. So you see that, for instance, if I wanna accentuate the rotting and eliminate rotting, all I have to do, you have to go to a coarser mix while I'm not impacting the ITS or the VMA, and we can learn a lot from this type. One thing that it comes in then is that the impact of aggregate types. These all, you know, there are different materials from soft to very hard, and they have the same PCS. So how do we incorporate the softness of the material, looking at the crushing, absorption, shape, and things like that? How can we incorporate that into the mix design? And we went back to the good old aggregate crushing value, and it's a very standard that I'm sure you're familiar with it. So essentially, what you see that the optimum asphalt content decreases as you have more crushing potential for the material. So basically, when the ACV is high, it means that you have a lot of crushing potential. So as you get less absorbent, less crushing materials, you need to increase the asphalt content. We just, from the lessons learned over here, we have just put a Excel tool. Actually, it's an online tool now that, you know, the DOTs can come and just basically optimize for the different beans of the materials that they have to get the gradation based on the lessons that we learned over here. So I would like to show you very quickly the influence of some of the parameters like the binder source. So basically we went and sampled the same performance grade binder from different sources, and we replaced the binder after the mix design. We looked at the wrap content, how we can increase the wrap content and have a balanced mix design. And then we looked at the aging, how the different methods of design would impact aging. So what I'm showing you over here is a rotting potential on the y-axis and cracking potential on the x-axis, and the balanced mix design would be a mix that would be in this green area, as you see. So what you see that, you know, we have gone and we just basically looked at the binder source. This is 5 different refineries. We just went and sampled material and we just replaced them. And you see that there is a vast difference when you look at the traditional dense graded mixes, and only one of them is balanced. But when you go to the balanced mix design, one thing that you would see that the rotting is impacted, but the cracking is not impacted as much over here because of the change in the gradation. So you can minimize the impact of the variability in the binder from different sources by proper balanced mix design. Wrap content, you know, basically I'm showing you 18%, 26%, up to 38% wrap, and you see that all of them can be balanced. The thing is that you cannot just replace, you need to design for the specific binder wrap content that you want to use. And so basically you have to just keeping the balanced mix design gradation, you need to get the binder content for each percentage and just see which one is economical. In terms of the short-term and long-term aging, I'm just showing you a traditional mixed design versus the BMD and the crack propagation rate. So anything below 0.5, 0.45 is acceptable. Anything above is cracks acceptable. And you see that there are two mixes, and you see that after short-term oven aging and long-term oven aging, you see that the traditional mix design, just ages quite a bit. Now that you're relying on the grain to grain, you will still have some aging, but the impact of aging is less. And because it's a balanced mix design, it's already will not crack initially. If you look at another mix, the same behavior that you would see. The mix would age and probably crack, but the difference between the short-term and long-term is small. So, summary and conclusions. We just basically advocate a balanced mix design that focuses on gradation and source of aggregates, as well as the type of the binder. Adjusting aggregate gradation can improve performance by making room for the increased asphalt content, so that we can get not only good grain-to-grain contact, but have room for the binder to get in to get the VMA that you require. Influence of binder source is minimized when you go with the grain-to-grain contact as opposed to the traditional fine grain dense graded mixes. And increasing of wrap content, it's possible, but we have to do an individual mix design for a certain amount of wrap. And basically, we showed that the BMD mixes are less sensitive to the long-term conditions than the traditional mix design. With that, I would stop. I hope I haven't gone over my allotted time. I just want to thank you, AB, for your friendship and long-standing collaboration that we have had. I have two of my favorite Indians over here, Rajiv Malik and AB in the picture. This is in the guest house in 2016 in IIT Madras, and I had the time of my life. And compliment to the chef. He fed us really, really well.
Thank you, Sohail. Thank you for your time and early in the morning. You have consented to deliver the talk. It was interesting talk. Thank you very much.
No problem. It's my pleasure. Hopefully we'll see you back in the US soon.
Definitely, yeah. My children are there. Definitely will meet them.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Nazarian, for sharing your experience on national payments. Now I invite our second speaker, Professor Neeraj Buch, who is a professor as well as the chairperson in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, College of Engineering at Michigan State University, to please deliver a talk on evolution of concrete design. Professor Neeraj, the floor is yours.
Hopefully you can see my screen. And again, thank you, Professor Surendra Singh, for organizing this event. So as Professor Surendra Singh said, my name is Neeraj Buch, and I'm going to talk briefly about the history of concrete pavements in the United States, about 100 years or so, and sort of summarize the evolution of design and our understanding with regards to concrete pavements design as well as analysis in the United States. The picture you see on the left here on the screen was the first concrete street that was constructed in the United States in Bellefontaine, Ohio, in the Midwest, back in 1891. And of course, this picture is not from 1891, as you can see cars. However, the street was designed really to carry horse carriages. So obviously the design and construction was slightly different from what you see on the picture on the right. But before I get into my presentation, I'd like to acknowledge that some of the slides, some of the information that I'm going to present was taken by a presentation that Dr. Mark Snyder made back in 2008 in Brazil as part of the IBRACON conference. So I think it's appropriate to acknowledge the source. Professor Nazarian stole my thunder. Even I have a picture of a Gyan course that I presented at the invitation of Professor Veeraragavan as well as Professor Surendra Singh. And this was really the last time I came to India because COVID happened after this. So this was back in 2019. In December, and we had a very exciting 1 week talking about design and construction of sustainable concrete pavements. So again, I want to thank Professor Veeraragavan for presenting that opportunity for me to visit IIT Madras and meet with students, researchers, and faculty at IIT Madras. I also want to note on a personal level that I'm honored to be considered a friend and a professional colleague of Professor Veeraragavan, and I was truly honored when I received this invitation from Professor Surendra Singh to share some of my thoughts for this event. So again, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So what was the evolution? So if I go through the timeline, so back in the 1900s, if the participants can speak, mute their microphones, that would help. So back in the 1900s, pavements were for the most part unpaved. Drainage was a challenge. And probably the life of a pavement was about one season. Fast forwarding about 20 years, pavements started receiving a bound surface. And all of a sudden, life of pavements sort of were extended to about 10 or so years. As we moved into the 1960s, because pavement design was considered to be an important element of the transportation infrastructure, there was more advanced understanding of pavement construction, pavement design. The life was extended to about 20 or so years. And then now, of course, we talk about long life concrete pavements. We are talking about 40, 50, even 100-year pavement designs. And obviously, all this did not happen in a vacuum, as our understanding about design, construction, materials, the interaction between pavements and the environment became more and more advanced. We are able to design and construct pavements that can last 40, 50, 60, even 100 years. So this just gives you a summary of how Portland cement concrete design has evolved since the 1900s now into the 21st century. Types of concrete pavements that are common in the United States, of course, the jointed concrete pavements, jointed plain and jointed reinforced. But I'd like to note that I would say over the last 20 plus years, jointed reinforced concrete pavements are not being designed or constructed. So the predominant jointed pavement that exists on the US transportation network is a jointed plain concrete pavement. Another commonly used pavement type is the continuously reinforced concrete pavement. And this picture is from the Dan Ryan Expressway. And you can see downtown Chicago in the background there. Concrete overlays, all kinds of concrete overlays on concrete on asphalt are another type of concrete pavements that are used in the United States. And I would say in the last 10 to 12 years, the use of precast concrete pavements and precast pre-stressed concrete pavements are also finding their presence in the transportation infrastructure. And then, of course, for selected applications, we have the roller compacted concrete pavement. So this gives you a flavor of the types of concrete pavements that exist in the United States. So what was the turning point in PCC design and practice? And it was back in 1956 when President Eisenhower signed the Interstate Highway Act. And approximately 41,000 miles of network was planned. And mostly this network was constructed between the 1960s and the 70s. And the last segment of the network was completed in the 1990s. And this really, the signing of this Interstate Act really gave birth to the first designed road test, which looked at the design of both concrete pavements and asphalt pavements. And this was the AASHTO road test back in 1958. And the AASHTO road test was located on Interstate I-80 in a town called Ottawa, Illinois. And basically for the concrete pavements, for the road test, there were 6 loops that were constructed. And one part of the loop was asphalt and the other part of the loop was concrete. And for concrete pavements, there were 2 kinds of concrete pavements that were constructed: a jointed reinforced concrete pavement as well as a jointed plain concrete pavement. And the slab thicknesses ranged between 2.5 inches to 12.5 inches. The sub-base thicknesses ranged from 3 inches to 9 inches, and the subgrade was AASHTO A6 soil. The total loads were in excess of about 1.1 million load applications, and if you sort of convert that to easels or equivalent single axle loads, it was approximately 6.2 million easels over the life of the AASHTO road test, which was between 1958 and 1960. And after several iterations of the data, this was sort of the design equation that came out of the AASHTO road test. And basically it focused on 4 or 5 critical inputs. One input had to do with the reliability of the design, which was given by the product of the normal deviate Z sub R and the standard deviation. There was some focus on the load transfer, so whether the joints were doweled or undoweled. So that was given by this variable J. The elastic modulus of concrete, E sub C, and then the modulus of subgrade reaction, K, lowercase k, which was really the static modulus of subgrade reaction. But really the heart of the entire design had to do with this concept of present serviceability index, or PSI, which had to range from 0 to 5, 0 being an impassable pavement, and 5 being a perfect pavement. And the design using the AASHTO process really focuses on the change in serviceability. That is the difference between the initial serviceability of the pavement and the terminal serviceability of the pavement. And essentially the underlying philosophy of this design process was that what kind of a thickness would you need to make sure that you can preserve the change in serviceability over the design life. That is sort of the underlying philosophy of the AASHTO design process, whether it was the asphalt pavement or the concrete pavement. That was sort of the underlying philosophy of the design process. And essentially, the AASHTO design can be summarized in this sort of block diagram, that there were a family of inputs for concrete pavements. There was this regression model that I just showed you in the previous slide. And essentially, you figured out what kind of thickness you needed to meet the present serviceability index criteria. There are some limitations. There were some limitations of this design process. For one, there was one subgrade, one environment, because this road test was in Ottawa, Illinois, and therefore a lot of transfer functions had to be developed in order to make this design process applicable across the country. There was only 2 years of service, so a lot of extrapolation had to be made when it came to traffic prediction. Only one Portland cement concrete mixture was used, limited number of load applications. And of course, there wasn't a lot of change in climate because this road test was just in one location. So fast forwarding, beyond the AASHTO 8693 design process, was sort of the conception of mechanistic empirical design. And there was clearly agreement that we need to know more about pavements than just the serviceability. The ride quality is important, but there are also other elements of pavement design and analysis that need to be considered. And also the interaction between the environment and the pavement became well known, and there was a lot of research that was done. And the biggest was the universal applicability of a pavement design. If I was to consider the AASHTO design as an empirical method based on observations, then the universal applicability became a challenge. Whereas if you sort of move towards a mechanistic empirical process, then based on pavement response, the application across the country became a little easier. So this is a flow chart that was conceived by Professor Marshall Thompson, who's from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. This was back in the early 2000s. He proposed this mode of thinking. So the benefits of the mechanistic empirical design process are, it's able to predict specific distress types, considers pavement response, both due to load as well as due to climatic effects, does consider material characterization, takes the effect of seasonal changes, and the thought process moved from a EASL concept, the 18 kip equivalent single axle or the 40 kilonewton single axle, to a load spectrum and looking at quantifying damage based on axles rather than just one overarching number, which was the equivalent single axle load. So back in the early 2000s, NCHRP, the National Cooperative Highway Research Program, launched a project called 1-37A, which was really the beginning of the AASHTO pavement ME as we know it today. ME stands for the mechanistic empirical design process. So in the journey of the mechanistic empirical process, the first question was asked is, how do concrete pavements fail? So one, of course, is this distress type transverse cracking. And then there was a discussion as to, what are the different ways by which transverse cracking can manifest itself in a concrete pavement. So back in the 1920s and 1930s, Westergaard, who came up with the Westergaard equations, noted that one way concrete pavements fail is when the axle load is on the edge of a concrete pavement, far away from either joints. That is sort of the worst bottom-up cracking that you can get. And then as we learned more and more about the effect of the stresses on concrete pavements, the other was when the axle loads were applied at joints, you got this phenomena of top-down cracking. But this was not in isolation. We also had to know about temperature curling in a concrete pavement. So when you have a positive gradient across the concrete pavement, you get A geometric deformation is shown on the top left of the slide. That is, the middle of the slab gets lifted up, it loses support. And then when you get a negative gradient across the concrete slab, you get the edges lift up and you lose support from the edges. So you can get classical fatigue when you combine a positive gradient with the edge loading, and you can get top-down cracking when you combine the joint loading with a negative gradient. So this picture highlights the interaction between pavement response and how load and the environment interact with each other in order to develop these tensile stresses. Another mechanism by which pavements can fail is essentially a differential in elevation between one slab and the next, which we call joint faulting. And again, the predominant cause of joint faulting is having excessive peak deflections under a corner load application, and this, in order to minimize joint faulting, dowel designs become very critical, and monitoring deflections and differential deflections across the joints becomes important. And this is all formulated in the new mechanistic empirical pavement design. For continuously reinforced concrete pavements, a very unique distress exists, which is called a punch out. And this is a picture of a punch out. And this is sort of the mechanism of how a punch out takes place. CRC pavements, by definition, have superficial transverse cracks because there are no contraction joints in the CRC pavements. So transverse cracks always exist. And when these transverse cracks get connected with short longitudinal cracking, and if there is a loss of support, a part of the concrete pavement punches into the foundation layers. And as you can see in the top left, that is sort of the manifestation of a punch out. But this is a distress very unique to continuously reinforced concrete pavements. You are not going to find this distress in a jointed system. And then, of course, when you take all these issues of distresses, poor construction, pavements can also exhibit poor ride quality. And so the pavement mechanistic empirical design process has given a lot of emphasis to the International Roughness Index, to the smoothness of the pavement, the initial smoothness of the pavement, and how the pavement smoothness deteriorates over time as a function of construction, as well as site factors and, of course, the structural distresses. The other very important piece of the pavement mechanistic design is that it is considering pavement design more as a system rather than just looking at thickness. And so in order for the system to work, we have to look at several inputs that go into the system: the climate, the climatic inputs, the material characterization, whether it's asphalt or concrete, there is traffic, and then of course it is, and what is the level of reliability. And all this information is then fed into let's say a trial cross section, which is then analyzed for pavement response. That pavement response can then be transferred to accumulated damage. And then using transfer functions, that accumulated damage can then be converted to predict performance. And then, of course, you make a decision whether the performance has met the design criteria for the design life. And if the answer is yes, you are done. If the answer is no, it's an iterative process. You go back and tweak the design inputs such that you meet the pavement performance criteria. So again, this is an example of a systems approach, looking at all different elements and all the interactions that can impact the performance of a concrete pavement. So this is a long way from the original ASHO design that was conceived back in the 1960s. Another important piece of the mechanistic empirical design process was this concept of incremental damage. So rather than looking at characterization of a material or the response of a material in just at one point in time. You have to look at it over the entire design life, and then sum that damage over time. So this just shows you how the subgrade modulus changes properties over time, how the granular base modulus changes time. The assumption is that the stabilized base modulus doesn't fluctuate as much with seasons as the unbound materials would. How does the traffic grow over time? The change in PCC modulus as a function of time. And if you were to calculate damage and then this vertical bar just says, okay, we can calculate damage along the time scale and then accumulate this damage over time and then determine the total damage as a function of time. So this was, again, is an integral part of the pavement mechanistic empirical design process. I'm not going to bore you with these equations, but essentially the DI is the damage index, which looks at the Miner's hypothesis and captures this I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P are the variables across which the damage is calculated, and that's, again, this is what it shows, that the incremental damage is a function of age, the modulus of subgrade reaction, the base material, the concrete strength, and so on and so forth. So it's a fairly complex way to analyze transverse cracking. Similarly, the faulting model, and again, I'm just going to highlight some of the important inputs. DE is the differential energy across the joint. Delta curling is the curling deflections. It considers the erosion of the foundation materials. It also considers the percent passing the number 200 and the number of wet days. So again, all these are factors that impact the joint faulting of a concrete pavement. And then this is sort of the smoothness model, and the smoothness model is significantly impacted by the initial International Roughness Index, or the IRI initial, and the side factors that has to do with the environmental effects as well as the properties of the subgrade soil. What this mechanistic design has allowed us to do is study and be able to quantify the interactions, the what ifs of pavement design. That if I was to change slab thickness, what would be the effect on percent slabs cracked? What would be the effect of percent cracking if I changed the joint spacing? So there is an interaction between slab thickness and joint spacing. You cannot just keep changing the slab thickness without paying any attention to the joint spacing, because there is a close relationship between transverse cracking, slab thickness, and joint spacing. Another set of interactions is with the coefficient of thermal expansion of concrete. If you have a very thermally active concrete, then there is an interaction between the CTE of the concrete pavement and the joint spacing that you can have. So again, the pavement ME allows us to play these what if scenarios before you actually finalize the design of the concrete pavement. What is the effect of the shoulder type? Whether I have a tight concrete shoulder versus an asphalt shoulder versus a widened lane. What is the effect on the pavement response, and how does that pavement response then translate into percent slabs cracked? We couldn't do all this with the AASHTO, the original AASHTO 8693 design, whereas this pavement ME, or the mechanistic empirical design, allows us to do that. I talked about differential energy. You can look at the effect of different base types on the differential energy. So higher the differential energy, higher is the potential for joint faulting. Lower the differential energy, lower is the potential for joint faulting. So stiffer bases go a long way in preventing joint faulting versus softer bases. And again, the pavement ME allows us to articulate that observation. So I want to conclude by sort of going back to what I had said in the beginning, that pavement design should not be done in isolation of just thicknesses. It is a systems approach. It is more than just cross-section design. We must consider the interactive effects of the various design elements. And consideration must be given to design features, material selection, construction practices in order to ensure long life pavements. So where do we go from here? Future research, and again, this is by no way an exhaustive list, but I think there is a lot of work that is going on and a lot more work is needed. And I'm sort of captioning it as smart pavements for health monitoring purposes, RFID tagging of pavements for inventory and pavement management for pavement management purposes. Real-time monitoring of fresh concrete properties. Are there ways by which we can test fresh concrete properties rather than the conventional slump test, which doesn't tell us much about the concrete? Are there other ways to quantify fresh concrete properties so that we can then predict performance of concrete pavements? And again, this whole issue of long life pavements and how does the life cycle play a role in it? Alternative cementitious materials from a sustainability standpoint. So again, these are just teasers to whet your appetite in terms of what future research holds for us in the concrete pavement community. So with that, again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and congratulations, Professor Veeraragavan. One of these days, I do plan to come to India and visit IIT Madras, and hopefully it is sooner than later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neeraj. It was a wonderful talk. We have covered the systems approach to concrete pavement design and management. We normally look at it as a material science or as a thickness design. It goes beyond material testing and thickness design. You have wonderfully covered the various aspects, including the performance to design. That's very wonderful. Thank you very much for your time, Neeraj.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Neeraj, for teaching us how the concrete pavement design has evolved. So now I invite Professor P.K. Sikdar from Intercontinental Consultant and Technocrat Private Limited, New Delhi, India, to please share your experience on road safety. Professor Sikdar, are you there?
Yeah,
and
I'm there.
Before, sir, you start, I would like to add one point that, for all the participants, that Professor Sikdar had a major medical issue yesterday and he was in the ICU. And but now he's with us to deliver a talk on road safety theory to practice. Also, I want to thank Dr. Velmurugan, who readily accepted our request to deliver talk on road safety. We thought, okay, you will not be able to join, but he readily accepted our request. So thank you, sir, very much for this, Dr. Velmurugan. Sir, now you can start.
Thank you. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever all my colleagues are there around the world. Well, I have heard both these very interesting topics from Professor Nazarian as well as Professor Butch from Michigan. And naturally, what I did, I made it simpler because I know this simple man, Professor Veeraragavan, since last 40 years or so. We have been together in many places and still working in many places together. And I'll keep it simpler. You can see that. Can I put it in full screen? Yeah. So what I say that theory in case of road safety, a plausible or scientifically acceptable general principle that explain a phenomenon. And the practice in road safety is the action, the way it is carried out or the way it has performed. Now, I say road safety, if you think very carefully, it's a kind of continuous disaster. And I have compared in our lifetime, all the disasters, natural disasters that have taken place in India, And you can see none of them come close to this last red band, that is the road safety, description of road safety in 2019. That's the latest data available at the moment. Of course, the response to road accidents is very, very less in comparison to any other such natural disaster or even in COVID-19 pandemic. As you can see in India, almost 500,000 people are already dead and 32.7 million people have been infected so far. But the response that you can see to that is really overwhelming from government, public, and everybody. Whereas road safety, I will show you as I go through what kind of response we get to it. Now, this is the data that has been published by ministry about 2019, 151,000 plus fatalities, 451 plus thousand people have been injured. Of course, WHO and World Bank estimates it to be much higher than that. Now, is that a drowning man, or the photograph says, I often think it is the road safety. Kind of, maybe we are failing to tackle this and we are going like that. Now, looking into the data, what has been published, it says that the accidents and injuries are going down, but fatalities are going up. Now, I have some doubts with this, because these need not be always fact of the matters. If you close your eyes, your problem doesn't get solved. But fatality, you cannot close your eyes, and that's why it goes up. And that's what is probably the fact of the matter. WHO says life and health, non-exchangeable with any other benefits. And that's the fact of the matter. And that's how we should take it so seriously, this road accident business. Now, road accident is probably somewhat misunderstood as well. Now, that's what I show you here with this sinking boat. These two gentlemen on this side of the boat where there is a hole and water is pumping in, and they are trying to fishing out the water. Whereas the other two guys are sitting and laughing from the other end of the boat. It's not realizing that all of them will sink if the boat sinks. Practically, managers of infrastructures are to be responsible, all of them. And we should consider that it is a collective responsibility, and it is not the victims who are responsible for the accidents. So society views the road safety very peculiarly. Till the road safety problem directly impacts a person, he or she is indifferent. This is one big problem. And that's why you can see this small film.
Professor Sigdar, sorry for the interruption. We cannot hear the. Is there an audio related with this video also?
Sir, is there an audio with this video?
Yeah, there is a video. There is
Okay. Okay.
Audio we are not able to hear.
Oh, you are not able to hear the audio?
Yes, sir.
I see. Oh,
so, sir, what you have to do, you have to unshare and again start sharing. So when you click on share screen, there will be two checkbox.
Okay.
You have,
I think
yeah.
this can be, you can skip it, sir. I think that it will take time.
Yeah, I can skip this.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell the moral of the story. This
Yeah.
gentleman was asked by a reporter that in New South Wales, there were 249 people died last year. What do you think is a logical number, acceptable number? This seems to be too high. He said, maybe 70. Then this reporter brought in all his family members, father, mother, brother, sisters, their husband, etc., and made 70 people, and they walked in. He said, my God, this is my family. Then he asked again to this gentleman, what do you think the number should be? He said, 0. That's what it is. Until and unless it touches you, you don't feel the urgency or importance of this road safety issue. In terms of theory, I would say that safety is a function of geometry of the infrastructure, and geometry is the function of speed. So safety is derived from the safer planning and design, that is safe speed and corresponding geometry. And that may be considered a theory, fine. But do we attend to this theory? Not seriously, really. Actually, based on OECD and ITF report, which said towards 0 ambitious road safety targets way back in 2008, and that was the safe system approach, where the resilience of human body was in focus, and we were supposed to provide safer vehicles, safer roads, good drivers, skilled drivers, and all that should be created by understanding the accidents properly. That is the data, legislation, plenty of the legislations are already there. Entry of the drivers, that is in very bad shape in our country. Education, emphasizing the culture of safety, that is also very weak. And of course, political commitment, I don't know where it is. That's what is the situation. Now, Queensland's University restructured this, trying to show the safe systems approach in a better way, showing that human tolerance of crash impact is the center point. You have to build the entire road traffic system around it, supporting this. And that's why they say the safe speed, safe road users, safe vehicles, and safe roads and roadside. And all that is possible with all these actions which are given in this border of this circle. And that's what is the safe systems approach. And seems we are going deficient with that all the time. And that's why our system, or rather safe system, is not truly safe. Again, Johns Hopkins University has very clearly mentioned that to do this safe systems approach, prior to that, you should have strengthened road safety pillars. Those pillars, 5 pillars, you indicate of action. I'll just show you in a moment. And once you have that, then only you can have safe systems approach. And then only you can think of sustainable development goal integration with road safety. Now, if you do not have the base road safety pillars, then how do you go further ahead on this road safety? Head-on matrix is another very, very important and systematic approach of handling the road accidents, or rather injury and death from road accident. Dr. Haddon, way back, practically in 1970, devised this system of head-on matrix. The matrix looks at factors related to the personal attributes, agent attributes, and the surrounding, that is environmental attributes, of course, which has to be before, during, and after. And that's what is indicated here in this slide, showing that pre-accident, pre-event, during accident, and post-event. And this is more clearly seen here, where you can say that how can we prevent the crash or accidents? That means human, vehicle, infrastructure, how we have to provide that so that we can prevent crash. During crash, obviously, we will have to provide the equipment, seat belts, and a whole lot of other things. Road is to be built with protective devices like crash barrier, etc., so that during the crash, minimum kind of impact or damage can be done to this. And post-crash, obviously, we all know that we have to have best post-crash response so that we can save the lives and disabilities from the accidents. Now, these are the 5 pillars which were given by UN Decade of Action 2011 to 20, and these are to be strengthened, and then only, and these are actually based on the experience of some of the developed countries who have successfully contained this problem. They have not reduced it, but at least stabilized and contained this road safety problem. Now, that being not achieved, the targets of 2011 to 20, what happened? The ministers, global ministers met again 3rd time in February 2020, and UN General Assembly approved the fact on 18 September that yes, 2nd decade of action is to be taken. And now 2021 to 2030, this is considered as the 2nd decade of action for road safety. And there they suggest we have to reduce the fatality as well as the serious injuries to 50% by 2030. And that's the target of 2030, and it is aligned along with Sustainable Development Goals. Infrastructure planning, design, and implementation remain mostly deficient in India most of the time, and that's why the safety problem is seen to be so serious. And this is what I am trying to show you as the practice. Theory, we have seen that we have everything, knowledge is there, idea is there, we can do that. But are we doing that? What's happening this is an accident, and police record says that reckless driving, drunken driving, and whatnot. But the design itself is faulty. And that's what we have to correct. Here again, look at this where the crosswalk is painted. Implementation is a big problem in the country. Look at this. It's not my job. It can be straightened very easily. Look at this. This is surprising. How can a road can be built, a multi-lane highway in this way? Look at this, the construction activity. So dangerous. It can kill anybody very easily. And particularly the two-wheelers and all, they are very vulnerable to such situations. Look at another location of the similar nature. Look at this. I mean, there is total lawless movement. Some people are going straight, some people are going that way. I mean, where is the control? Where is the control? Science used in the construction zones. Many a times these are made there itself in the roadside and used. Look at this. These signs are totally wrongly implemented, placed wrongly in the wrong direction, although the curve is on the left-hand side. In spite of all these, our honorable minister thinks that we will be able to meet the 2nd decade of actions target by 2025. Well, that's his wishful thinking, but how can we reach to this without correcting the basis or the basic issues what we are trying to fail into? Yes, the girls also should have fun. This is again another issue. Two-wheeler fatalities in 2019 itself, out of 151,000, more than 58,000, that is 38.5%, two-wheeler riders fatalities. Of course, injuries are many times more of that. Now with that, why are we advertising two-wheelers? I mean, policy, government's action has to change. Enforcement is minimal. I mean, that's something is really creating big problem. Without 24/7 enforcement using technologies, no behavioral change can be expected in achieving the road safety. And that's what a few examples are given here. while driving, riding, you can try to do anything you want, except the main function that you are doing. That means driving or riding the motorbike. Look at this. People make their own arrangement to increase the vulnerability. Look at this. 7 people are riding a motorcycle. It's a very serious issue, and only helmet is only on one head. Look at this. Animal is transported by a 2-wheeler. I mean, these are serious problem with the enforcement. Now, what I have shown, it paints a picture that everything is going down the drain and it's not possible. But I say it is possible. It is possible to contain this road safety menace, and there is hope. Now, why I am saying this? Why I am saying this? I have taken this example of eradication of polio. We have eradicated polio from this country. What did we do? We had the polio mission, and we advertised saying that 2 drops of polio next Sunday. And everybody followed. Every citizen of the country followed, and today we are free from polio. Exactly the same thing is required in road safety. We need a road safety mission with 2 drops of road safety next Sunday. That means some action required from each individual contribution to help the road safety so that we achieve real road safety as we need. In India, way of doing things for road safety is something peculiar. We have plenty of knowledge and resources to tackle the problem. But if we do not know how to use these resources, it will never be enough. And that's what is happening as it appears. Now, something to remember always is that we don't have to drive a car or a motorcycle to cause an accident. Any of our irresponsible behavior may cause and be the reason of a road accident. You see this. Exactly. The moment you understand that the other person is driving, kill the conversation. There's no way that you can continue in conversation to take his attention to your phone call. So without driving, we can cause an accident. Now here I give you an example. Good practices of road safety can be taken from anywhere. Does our all non-motorized transport have reflectors? We have to learn from this animal problem. It is absolutely essential. There are hundreds and thousands of accidents taking place due to this non-visibility of these non-motorized transport. Practically, what I feel, India needs a bold multi-sectoral policy and action plan for road safety. That's what is required, and that is not bold. Just like the defense of the country, constitutional federalism needs to rise to the occasion, aiming collective betterment of road safety. Why I am saying so? The helmet law is there in Delhi. It's not in Tamil Nadu. It's not in somewhere else, not in Assam. So like that, I mean, it is in case of defense, there is no choice. No choice for Assam or Delhi or Kashmir. It's all same. We have to defend our country. Exactly the same thing should be done. We must rise above the constitutional federalism and try to see that we attend to road safety problem collectively. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Professor Sikdar. We never expected that you would come and talk today, considering your severe health conditions. I was talking to Velmurugan, and he yesterday, and he told that you are very sick and you will not be able to make it up. As you came for our faculty selection, I think that today also you made it. We are grateful and thankful to you. I also thank Dr. Velmurugan who consented to shift his talk from today to the Meet the Teacher event on the 5th of September that you organize again. So we will again hear Dr. Velmurugan's lecture on the 5th of September. So thank you very much, sir, for your time and help.
Great. Thank you.
Take care of your health, sir. We'll definitely meet again.
Sure, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Singh. Now, I request the international partners of Professor Veeraragavan to please share your experience and well wishes with Professor Veeraragavan. I first invite Professor Laszlo Gasper, who is a professor in the Road and Bridge Center in Budapest, Hungary, to share his words. Professor Gasper, yeah, you are. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So good morning or good afternoon to everybody. So dear Professor Veeraragavan, dear Vera, it's more than 25 years ago when we met first at an American conference on pavement management. Our cooperation started then based on a mutual sympathy and due to our similar areas of interest as pavement management, pavement maintenance, asphalt technology, and so on. When you visited Hungary, the Széchenyi István University in Győr, you gave very successful university lectures there. During this period, we have published a joint article on the comparison of Indian and Hungarian pavement management systems. During our visit with the late Professor András Bakó at the Indian Institute of Technology at Madras, the greenest and most beautiful campus in India, we had the opportunity not only to deliver lectures, but also to learn the academic departments, the advanced research centers, and the well-equipped laboratories of your university. You were always proud to inform me repeatedly on the fact that your beloved university bears the laureate of being #1 engineering university in India for several consecutive years, and it is high ranked in the world as well. Our cooperation also extended to requesting proofreading of articles and review of PhD dissertations. It has been a pleasure for me to follow the upward curve of your professional career, especially internationally. Finally, what should I wish you for the years to come, knowing that a real scientist can never stop? Maybe to find the optimal balance between continuing your professional work and your well-deserved.
Professor Gasper, we cannot hear you, sir. Left. Oh.
Professor Gasper, we are not able to hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I am sorry. I have forgotten to unmute it. Sorry. If
No, we were able to hear you. Only suddenly it went off.
So, should I repeat it or?
No, the last one, last sentence only we could not hear. Last sentence.
The last part.
Yeah.
I do not know, of course, from where, but I will repeat the last part of your words. So
no, you were told that how to wish me after the retirement. That from there you should continue. What I should do after the retirement, superannuation.
So finally, what should I wish to you for the next years to come, knowing that real scientists can never stop. Maybe to find the optimal balance between continuing your professional work and your well-deserved rest. All the best to you and your dear family until our next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gasper. It's nice to see you after a long time. Yeah, thank you very much for your time. Yeah.
Thank you, Vera.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Gasper. Now I invite Professor Rajiv Malik. Professor Rajiv Malik.
Yes, good evening. Surinder, can you play my video because my connection is not that great and I may lose it at any time if you don't mind.
Sure. I'll do it.
Thank you.
I'll again start sharing it.
Namaskar. My name is Rajiv Bosumalik. I am a professor of civil and environmental engineering at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Namaskar. My Namaskar. My name is
Surinder, in the interest of time, let it go. I'll just speak. I think we are taking too much time in that system. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll be brief. I mean, there've been so many things to talk about. I just cannot. I do not know where to start. But I had the privilege of knowing Professor Veeraragavan since the mid 2005 or 2006 when I first met him in a conference, and since then we have been working together in conferences and publishing papers and guiding students. And I have been fortunate enough to know him on a personal level in several occasions. And he is very well respected. I do not want to talk about his achievements. We already heard about that. But as a person, he is exemplary. And he's a mentor to many students as well as to me. And one thing I want to mention is that throughout his working life, the part that I've seen him, he remains unaffected by success or failure, or even if something happens that is not according to our wish, he doesn't get depressed. He carries on. And when he achieves something, I have never seen him overjoyed. He has a very level, calm and cool mind, way of doing things. And he also does not worry about the results of his work. He carries on with his typical grace and good attitude. And that makes me think that he is Indian culture, as we know, he's a true karma yogi. And I respect him for that. The only person that I've seen in my life who is a karma yogi is Professor Veeraragavan, and that's why he is my idol. And he is retiring today. We'll miss him. we'll miss him, very much. I do not have words to in my vocabulary to express how much we'll miss him, but he deserves it. And I wish him the very best. And I also wish that he carries on working with us, and he has a very happy and healthy retirement. I only wish that I knew him, earlier and started working with him. So thank you for this opportunity and all the best wishes, Professor Veeraragavan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajib. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Professor Kelvin Wang from Oklahoma State University to say a few words. Professor Kelvin Wang.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, fine, Kelvin.
Hi.
Yeah.
Very happy to be here to join friends and colleagues to celebrate the career of Professor Veeraragavan. My name is Kelvin Wang. I work at the university, Oklahoma State University. I was a professor at the University of Arkansas for 18 years. Professor Veeraragavan is a dear friend for several decades. I got to know him in the mid-1990s through a former student actually of his at the University of Arkansas. I still remember the events that we participated and we interacted. Professor AV is an accomplished and prolific researcher in broad payment engineering and helped India government set standards in various aspects of payment engineering. I want to emphasize that our interactions in the last 25 years have positively impacted my current work, bridging between high impact university research and commercialization of the payment survey technology in industry. I wish Professor AV further success in his new endeavor in the coming decades. We look forward for new interactions and new work pretty soon. Appreciate for the opportunity to make the comments and best wishes.
Thank you, Kelvin. I'm sure that we'll look forward to working with you on 3D lasers in India. We'll implement and definitely we'll work together. Thank you very much for your time. Yeah.
Thank you.
So there were a few more professors who wanted to attend this workshop and share their well wishes with Professor AV, but could not do so because of the time difference. However, they have shared their well wishes through videos. So again, I'll try to play the videos. I hope I'll be successful this time. So the first video will be from Professor Arun Kumar from RMIT University, Australia. And the second one is from Professor Rajagopal from Inframe, Sinesar.
Professor Veeraragavan.
Since I'm not able to play, so I'll ask the other organizers to play on behalf of me.
Surinder, shall I try?
Yes, sir, if you can.
It's my screen.
Sir, we are not able to see the video.
I am able to hear you. Hear it.
No, I'm not able to hear.
You have to
We
try.
are not able to view the video also. So,
Can you try?
yeah, I'll again, one more time, I'll try.
Otherwise, we'll request others who are present physically live to talk.
Okay,
If it's
I'll
free-
try for the last time.
Yes,
If it is
otherwise
not
we'll
success,
request.
then we can,
Yes, right.
and then we can play in the end.
Yeah. Later at the end, you can play.
Professor Veeraragavan and fellow delegates. I feel extremely honored to be a part of this workshop
But I'm not able to
and
hear anything.
your
Are you able to?
retirement function. I've now known you for over 40 years, Professor Veeraragavan, since my days at CRRI. And I am so honored to know you and that the great contribution you have done in the roads and the transport sector, not only in India, but at the international level. I'm very impressed the way you have kept in touch with industry all along and brought that forward into academia in your teaching and also into your applied research, which have always been an asset to the industry and will continue to be. As you complete your tenure now with IIT, I'm sure the great contribution you're going to make further into industry would always have a continued value to the industry. You have all my best wishes for your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Surinder. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Raghavan. I am not sure if I can be casual at this event, but you see, I have known him for 40 years.
The next video. Sorry, I'm not able to hear anything from the video that
We
I'm
are able to
playing.
hear Surinder. We are able to hear Surinder. Only you are not able to hear.
Yeah, all of us are able to hear.
Okay. I think there is something that's going on. Yeah. So the next video is from Professor Rajagopal from INFRAME in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Raghavan. I am not sure if I can be casual at this event, but you see, I have known him for 40 years. We both started our career as pavement engineers at Bangalore University. We started working as research scientists for the R6 research project. Those days, we were young, energetic, and more than anything, we were passionate about what we were doing. For the project, we had to visit a lot of test sections. So we traveled a lot together. We did a lot of field studies. We worked in the lab, burnt our fingers. We attended conferences. We debated, we argued, and also we did a few things that I should not mention here. After my PhD, I left Bangalore University, but he stayed there and continued from where Professor Justo left. For that, I am grateful to him and I'm very proud of him. Apart from being a smart, intelligent, hardworking, and practice-oriented engineer, he has got many other qualities that have made him very successful today. Let me name 4 of them. One of them, the first one is organized. Boy, this is one thing I noticed from day one. He is very organized. For the project, we had to keep a track of all the test sections which were scattered around 4 states. He kept complete record of all those test sections. Remember, those days we didn't have computers or spreadsheet, and then we had to know where the location IDs with no GPS, and we had to use our own skill set, and then dates of visit, and then the data we have collected, and future dates of visit, all those minor details and every detail, he had a complete record of it. I was on the other hand 180 degrees opposite, but I managed. Second one is contact. He keeps contact with his past students, present students, fellow academicians, researchers, industry representatives. Just the fact that you see more than 500 people have signed up for this event shows that he's always in touch with his people. That's a very appreciable quality. The third one is what I call being open-minded. See, our field is very vast. We can be involved in payment design, we can do payment evaluation or payment management, or we can be experts in materials or investigation, or you can even do highway safety. We can talk about guardrail, striping, and so many things. It's not possible for one person to know all of these things. So what he does is, whenever there is a question posed, in fact, our WhatsApp group, it keeps coming with this sort of question, he does not hesitate to contact people who are experts in the respective field, and then he will pass on the information to the concerned people. That is a very amazing quality. I really appreciate what he does. Then the last one is voice. He is very expressive boy. When he has something on his mind, he will make others know. In fact, even when we were in Bangalore University, when he spoke at one corner of the building, we could echo that, it would be echoing at the other corner. So he is very expressive. That's also important. You got to, when you have something on your mind, it really comes out. So he is entering another phase today. I don't know whether I should say congratulations or wish you for that, because I know for sure that you are going to be involved in this community in some capacity that's of your choice. Hey, by the way, I was telling Geeta that you are retiring, and she recollected many things, and among them were for your eyes only. Maybe in your talk you can tell the forum what it is. Congratulations and see you sometime. Bye-bye.
Surinder, we can go with the Professor Reddy, and then we can go to the messages later.
Yeah, sure. So I request Professor K.S. Reddy to please share.
Good evening. Professor Surinder and others at IIT Madras, thank you for giving me the opportunity to join this event. I have known Professor Veeraragavan for almost like 30 years. And we are from that group of researchers who work for RSS scheme directly or indirectly. Most of us got their PhDs by working for RSS scheme. I didn't work directly there, but I was doing my PhD during that period. Professor Manu Sultanam actually very accurately described his academic and then research credentials, professional credentials. So I will not discuss those things, but I'll give my impressions of what I felt through my interactions with him on various fora. See, I have always been envious of him because in terms of our ability to manage our things, he and I stand poles apart. He is someone who will immediately within minutes send you a reply to your emails, send a review of your paper and then thesis maybe within 10-15 days. On the other hand, I lost many friends and then maybe colleagues who don't talk to me now because I don't reply to their emails, never. And my thesis reviews get delayed as late as 7 months, 8 months. People stop sending me thesis. And I think he has that kind of enthusiasm with which he works that, as I think Professor Rajgopal rightly mentioned, I think among our peers, he is one who touched so many areas in transportation, whether it's safety, management, materials, evaluation, design. Almost he touched all areas of traffic, including traffic engineering. I don't think any other faculty member in India in transportation has such wide spectrum of activities that he has undertaken. And I have participated with him, even traveled to USA, joined Professor Rajiv Malik there in USA along with him. He has always treated me as his younger brother. He is someone who has no ego. he could actually ask a doubt or question to even a student or someone who is quite younger to him. I think these are qualities that stand him apart from crowd like us. So I have always been envious of him, but I wish him best of luck for his future. I know he's going to get busier than what he is currently. Wish you best of luck, rather best wishes to you for your future endeavors, Professor. I know you're going to be very busy, and you keep us, all of us, very busy through your WhatsApp groups. So thank you for that. Okay. So best wishes to you.
Thank you, Brother Reddy, for your time and the wonderful speech. Yeah.
Now I request Professor Manoranjan Parida from IIT Roorkee.
Thank you, Professor Surinder. Respected Professor Veeraragavan and distinguished attendees of this grand event, good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure and great honor for me to be part of this event. And it's a great opportunity for me to share a couple of things, which like the kind of collaboration, interaction, which I had with Professor Veeraragavan. The first collaboration I'll mention is about AICT Nationally Coordinated Project on Road Traffic Safety. So that was a project where IIT Roorkee, Bangalore University, then IIT Lucknow were partners, and we worked on road traffic safety. And as a follow-up, later on at IIT Roorkee, we have worked on these different aspects of road traffic safety, be it modeling and more on the national highway safety system we have worked, and currently we are undertaking the road safety audit training programs in collaboration with Indian Roads Congress and MORTS. So that particular collaboration has been very fruitful. The second association is with respect to the Highway Capacity Manual, Indo-HCM project. Here under the work package 7, Professor Veeraragavan was the mentor for this package. And under his mentorship, we could complete this particular work package 7 on capacity of pedestrian facilities. And the same thing has been incorporated. The findings of Indo-HCM WP7 has been incorporated in the revised document of PEARS 103, which is going to be published. And I value all the comments, all the valuable suggestions provided by Professor Veeraragavan. The other thing is that about the pavement management system, I am someone who has nothing to do with respect to pavement management, but then I have been greatly inspired by Professor Veeraragavan. And in couple of PhD thesis in this area, where I was a co-supervisor, I have taken inspiration of the work of Professor Veeraragavan. And in the lines of his work on pavement management system for Bangalore urban roads, I had initiated a project for the urban roads in Noida, and later on a PhD thesis was completed at IIT Roorkee and a lot of other publications. The last thing, but which is very important to me, his engagement with the Indian Roads Congress, with Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, and the National Rural Roads Infrastructure Development Agency. That's a great lesson for me. The whatever kind of research we do, whatever publications we do, but if we could package it, if we could formulate it in a way that it is useful for field professionals, which they can understand easily, they can adapt easily. So then that is the true success of the research which we are undertaking. So with that, I'll close my thoughts, and I'd certainly wish all the best for Professor Veeraragavan for the official post-retirement. I'm sure he'll be very busy, and he'll have many more engagements post this say formal retirement. So once again, all my regards and my best wishes to you, Professor Veeraragavan. Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you, Parida. I think as a deputy director of IIT Roorkee, you'll have too many assignments, but in spite of that, you could find time to spend with us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Praveen Kumar from IIT Roorkee.
Good evening, everybody. And it's an honor to me to say a few words to speak about Professor Veeraragavan, because he is such a personality that everybody loves him, everybody respects him. And in India, if I say you have to select someone who is working for the transportation engineering, then he will be on the top. When I organized one conference in Roorkee, I invited him and we honored him for that work he has been doing. So he is such a personality, and he is very close to IIT Roorkee actually. I can tell you that he has come physically at least 10 times to Roorkee to examine the PhD thesis. It's very difficult to come from Madras and to Delhi, and from Delhi to Roorkee. It's a long way road journey from Delhi to Roorkee. But he never said no. Whenever we requested him, he said, yes, I will come. And he examined with full sincerity with all the comments to the student. So because of that, and secondly, he has come to various selection committees also. He has come to various conferences also. So sometimes it gives an impression that he is part of IIT Roorkee fraternity also. Sometimes to me, it looks like that he is one of us. And that is why everybody loves him, and especially our students also have a direct contact with him. He discuss the topics with them. If they have any query, he has the discussion with them on the road materials. And at the same time, he is very sober, humble, and down to earth. That is why everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody wants to discuss the topic, discuss the future. And I have shared with him many selection committees, many other type of committees that normally after every 2-3 months we are in the same committee. So it looks to me that he is always there, and his questions, his style of interviewing, it is all very impressive. And that is why everybody loves him. And as I said, that he is #1 in the country in this area. We all love him, and I am sure in future also we will be having his time. Whenever we request, he will be available to us, like earlier he has been to us. And our students are also asking me, sir, Professor Veeraragavan is retiring, then where he will go, what will happen, all these things. So I am sure you will be with us, and after the retirement you will be working more. I hope so. And personally, I have an attachment with him. Whenever I feel anything to discuss, I also discuss with him. So I give the best wishes to him, and I am sure you will be with us in future also. Thank you.
Thank you, Praveen. It's a nice, more than us, I think we are all family friends for many, many decades. I'm sure that the relation will continue in the years to come as well. And now I'll have more time to spend with you all in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Praveen Kumar. Now I invite Professor Dharamveer from IIT Bombay. Professor Dharamveer.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Good evening, all, and Professor Veeraragavan, greetings from IIT Bombay. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Surendra Singh for giving me this opportunity to speak on this occasion. And I would like to congratulate Professor A.V. For successful professional career, and wish him a good health ahead. Let me tell you, like how to become millionaire after listening Professor A.V. And if you are lucky to hear or attend his webinar or presentation, you will frequently hear him saying that this is $1 million question. And by the end of the presentation, you will definitely grab a lot of such kind of questions. And if you can find the answer of some of these questions on the serious note, definitely you can save a lot of material, a lot of cost, good construction practices. So I have heard him saying many times, and whenever he asks that question, this is $1 million question, you need to immediately write that and think about that what kind of solution we are going to find out from this particular question, how do we are going to go ahead. So this is what I learned from Professor A.V. And I'm not I did not get in touch with him, like around 2000 or so. I just came in touch with him around 2011. when I completed my PhD from University of Oklahoma. And immediately I fall in, kind of quite impressed the way he approached, the way he talked, and the kind of knowledge, in-depth knowledge that he has. So I'm very fortunate to interact with him, talk to him, spend time, professional as well as personal talk. Sometimes we do, and he has a very good sense of humor. If you really can get to that zone where he really start interacting with you freely, then you will sense that what kind of sense of humor he has, and I respect him a lot. And one of the memory that I have, we traveled together in Germany. We spent almost a week time with Professor Veeraragavan, Professor Pandey, and Professor Dr. Bose, and it was a memorable time that I have. And I have a lot of learning, and I wish him a good luck and good career, good health actually. In fact, I'm sure that he will be connected as always. And thank you, Professor Avi, and have a good time and good health ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, DV. Thank you for your time. We really spent a nice time. Whenever I visited Bombay or whenever I visited Chennai, we look forward to work together even after my superannuation. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Professor.
Prof. Thank you, Professor Dharamveer. Now I invite Professor Krishna Biligiri from IIT Tirupati.
Can you hear me, Sundar?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Namaste to everyone. Just thought of something else. I was just thinking what to speak, but maybe I should say this: Professor Veeraragavan's career and his personality is probably something much more related to spirituality than what I think I can better say about him. There are three things I thought I should say. One, there is this saying in Ishavas Upanishad, Kurvandevaha karmani jijivisha chatam samaha. So every moment we should be working, and that's what Professor Malik was saying. He's a karma yogi, and that's a fact. So every second he works, and I've seen him also responding whenever we have sent emails. He was in the US once, and he responded back. And as Professor Sudhakar Reddy was rightly pointing out, he's been on it without rest. But I'll come back to what I thought he should be doing after this, at least with what I feel. The second thing I thought was Dwa Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. So as Bhagavata Dharma says, you need to be guiding someone, hold the hands and move forward. And that's what he's been doing, and he's been with us. And let me also tell you this, we are graduating one PhD from IIT Tirupati. IIT Tirupati is probably the youngest IIT in the several ones that we have. And he's actually the first examiner, and this is the first PhD from IIT Tirupati and also from Pavement. So that's something that we are very happy about, and he's very kind to review. Thanks on that. So he's also been mentoring us, mentoring several of the young colleagues. So something that we have to learn from him is keep working and also try to help others as much as possible. The third thing that I thought was Vidya Dadati Vinayam. So unlike what the empty vessels make noise, right? So he's full. He has learned so many things. But what the others were saying, he's humble, down to earth, but he's simple. I think that's something, one of the other etymological meanings of Vinaya is simplicity. And that's what I've seen him over the years. What I think should be the next way forward, as Professor Laszlo was saying, the 50% of his time should be spent on something else. But let me also pray the Almighty that he should get more strength to also devote towards spirituality. That's something that we all have to really do, because the energy is so high outside that we are not able to even probably get even one small fraction. So thank you, Professor Veeraragavan, for your time. And some other people know this. I've known him for almost 18, 19 years now. I don't think he remembers, but we were there as part of MS Ramaya student organizing team, and he was there as one of the speakers in one of the conferences. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Krishna. Nice to see you, and definitely we'll meet again at Tirupati. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Krishna Biligiri. Now I request Dr. S. Velmurugan, Chief Scientist, CSIR.
No, I think Dr. Velmurugan left.
Okay.
Professor Prasad is there.
Yeah. So I request Professor Prashad from NIT Warangal.
Yeah, good evening, friends. Respected Veeraragavan and other friends. Good evening to all of you. So I'm fortunate and also lucky enough to speak a few words about the great personality, Professor A. Veeraragavan. I had 3 decades of association with him. My observations are is very simple, humble, down to the earth, and is always emphasizing on the practicing the theory and trying to apply in the field. The application is the essence of his emphasis always, and is always available to the many people, to us as well as the field engineers, to clarify the doubts, etc. In fact, I used to disturb him number of times whenever I get some doubt, maybe technically, non-technical aspects. I agree with one of the speakers also said that he's a true karma yogi. He is a highly contented person. In fact, about 10 years back, when I was interacting with him, when I visited IIT Madras, I was inquiring him, why don't you apply as a director of CRRI? He's the most deserving person. Probably you can bring some change in the direction of research, etc. He said that I'm happy at IIT Madras and I'll continue to be. He said that he has no inclination to go and apply for this. And he has I am also fortunate enough to work with him under his guidance. We formulated WhatsApp groups, bringing together all the transportation engineering faculty across the country on a single platform. I think he is the one person who is holding together the faculty and also guiding the quality of discussions happening in the WhatsApp groups. In fact, we had a long association with our institution, NIT Warangal, and he was a selection committee member. He was a thesis and dissertation evaluator. Visited several times NIT Warangal. One important aspect is when we have formulated a research advisory committee for NIT Warangal, he is the first committee member, and he was there, served in that capacity for more than 2 years. Has contributed a lot and giving a direction to the research at NIT Warangal. So I could say that I have learned during my association with him many things from him. Probably is a person to emulate and also to adopt several good qualities. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time whenever I disturbed you and guiding me to the path of my profession. And I wish that Almighty that you'll give the enough energies and health to you and peace of mind to lead the further life. And I also wish that your services will be available for the large transportation profession, both field as well as the academicians and researchers. Probably your services are more required and your guidance is required for persons like me. And once again, thank you, sir, and also thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Prasad. I'm sure that we can work together even after my superannuation. Definitely look forward to meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I request Professor Moses Santhakumar from NIT Trichy.
Yeah. Good evening, friends. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Dear transportation professionals and academicians, my association with Professor Veeraragavan dates back 4 decades to the period when he was my senior at the MTech transportation program at IIT Madras, 1978 to 80. And then he left to do his PhD under Professor Justo in Bangalore University, while I stayed back at IIT Madras to do mine. And of course, when he is the best known student of Professor Justo, the doyen of highway engineering. And on the way to Bangalore University, he spent some time in REC also, the erstwhile NIT. So maybe because of that, his bonds with the NIT Trichy have been very strong. And we have benefited immensely from his hand-holding NIT Especially, he was instrumental in setting up the Center of Excellence in Transportation Engineering, CETRANS by MHRD, right from the the DPR formulation to deliverables, and he helped us in setting up the laboratories and advised us in the selection of partner institutions, joint research projects, and so on. And after he moved to IIT, the professor level, which itself is a no mean achievement, we had continued to collaborate in research projects, and we took up 2 joint research projects under the Ministry of Urban Development. And of course, he had helped IIT Madras immensely in the dual degree program, as well as being the chairman of the committee, state committee. And as far as the PMGC program is concerned, we have been together right from its inception in 2000. And he was our principal technical agency to our state technical agency. And he's been advising us on so many occasions on many pavement evaluation projects and the fire board project and so on. In fact, many research projects and consultancy projects have been shaped by him, and we had always consulted him on many occasions. Academically also, he had helped us a lot by being on our boards of studies, academic audit, doctoral committees, comprehensive boards, and so on. Of course, his achievements in IRC, being a much decorated IRC member, and also member of HRB and many other committees, especially at the NHEI and MORTH, are well known to everybody. And he has a lot of international collaborations as well, as that we could see by the warm wishes of the international collaborators. But I must also add that he's a colossus who has straddled 2 distinctly dissimilar domains of pavement engineering and road safety. So I should say 3 cheers to your peers. So that is a great achievement, and he has been associated with the Tamil Nadu Road Safety Program, and we have also done many road safety training programs. Of course, he has also helped us a lot in our 25 odd courses, and he will always be the resource person, a very resourceful resource person who takes lectures. In fact, even the organizers used to attend his classes because he is the ultimate teacher. We all know he is the guru and well loved by his students and his colleagues as well, whoever listened to him. And I should say the pinnacle of his achievements, for all his great achievements at the national and international level, I should say is that he has etched his name in the Bible of highway engineering. We have learned by the highway engineering from Kanna and Justo, and now his name is added to that. And I think he has immortalized himself, and he will be remembered forever. And for all his great achievements and accomplishments, he has remained humble and simple and very, very friendly. Whenever we used to call him for any help, he has always rendered it. He was our one-stop shop for all technical advice, and he has mentored us and guided us. And I'm sure even after his retirement, he will continue to do that. Because just last week, he was initiating the cement concrete pavement evaluation program of NRIDA. And I pray the Almighty, along with you, to give him a long and healthy and active retired life. Thank you very much, Professor Veeraragavan.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Moses. Definitely we'll meet again. Yeah, thank you.
Now I request Professor Atkalkar from SVNIT Surat.
Yeah, namaskar and good evening to all. It's my pleasure to be part of this event. I think in many ways, this particular event will be memorable to many of us, and same is with me as well. For me, first of all, he's my teacher, and if I can recall, just 2005, first time he taught traffic engineering and road safety, and I was fortunate enough that he has taught me that subject at that time when I was doing my coursework at IIT Madras during my doctoral program. And during this coursework, he asked so many questions. Even still, we are finding we are still finding our own time to get the exact answers and know even the in-depth explanations for those things related to particularly traffic and traffic safety. So I think overall his quest towards solving the real field problems is always at peak, and he very meticulously teaches his subjects and his concepts and try to show the light and give some path over which if you are able to think and adopt and put some more thinking critically, then I think you are likely to get some good output to different research problems, and that's what has happened to me. In fact, in my career, he has played a very important role. I will not shy away in saying that he's the only person who has actually advised me to join SVNIT Surat, and he has supported me wholeheartedly at that time when I was little demoralized for getting faculty position, and he has played very important role at that time in my life. Apart from this, I think at SVNIT he has a very special bond, because he has always advised us. In fact, the very young program or master's program in this NIT, that is MTech Transportation program, which is very young, and but I think he was one of the mentors in that particular workshop, who have advised us to have kind of curriculum and kind of structure of the program, so that we can be successful in conducting this program over the years. And we are very happy to be always associated with him through one or the other ways. And as usual, he always connects so well, and he always puts a lot of questions. And even if you try to answer his question, the next question will be ready. So that means for even asking this question, he is always thorough with his concepts and knowledge. So in fact, I remember his one sentence when I was just about to get a degree from IIT Madras. At that time, I was just telling to him that these are the publications, sir, that I have got out of my research. At that time, he told that it's okay. You have got it now from IIT Madras. You can tell us when you will be getting your own publications on your own, and you have to work on your own and work independently, and show that you will be able to. You can be also one of the contributors as others in the field of traffic and transportation engineers. So he always have very pleasing manners, and he has got a extraordinary power to accommodate all and motivate individual person in and around of him. And he always makes even people around him to talk with him, and then always think critically about various aspects, not only professionally but also personally. And that is something which is great about him. He's so particular about time management. Once I was just trying to visit his cabin, and it was 5:01. Generally, I find him that he will be there at 7:55 in his office, and he will not be available at 5:01. And he's so particular about giving time to each and every person, including his family, students, and all. And I think that is something really I have to learn a lot from you, sir. And it's always great to hear you. Always very nice to connect with you in all aspects. And of course, it's a superannuation day for you officially, but as we have been discussing since last 1 week or so, that for us, always you are there, and your words and thoughts are going to be always with us. And then, of course, even though you are going to be officially superannuated, I think we will be always in connected. We'll remain connected to you, and then you will be having a lot of engagements, particularly after this day even. And as you told that you will be here in IIT Madras till I think June 2022. So it is wonderful to always interact with you, sir. And of course, your contributions for the development of campus, particularly, I would like to tell this point, because when I took the position of associate in PND, when I informed him, he also motivated me that you should take this position, spend some reasonable time, and then apply your engineering knowledge to improve the situation right at your doorstep and your own campus. And he has seen that the campus has developed to based on some standard practices. In fact, I always show his photograph with the ANPRS system, which is installed in IIT Madras campus, which reflects the speed of a given vehicle, and based on that, a driver can get a kind of message that whether he's overspeeding or not. I think overall, his quest to achieve this excellence is great, and we will be always in contact with you. And then, of course, you will always guide us. We know that, and with your guidance only, we can move forward, and we will always remain in connection. So I wish you a very peaceful and very healthy and very happy life as usual. And then your pleasing face itself gives us a lot of energy. And every morning I see your status of WhatsApp, which gives you a very positive message and note. So we always remain very motivated with that message. Thank you so much, sir, for giving this opportunity to express myself. I might have taken 30 seconds extra, but it was really always wonderful to interact with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Srinivas. After superannuation, I'll have more time to question you. Post more questions. Be prepared. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Now
here.
Okay. Thank you. So now I request Professor G.L. Sivakumar Babu.
Hello, distinguished colleagues. First of all, I would like to thank you for the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to be here. I know Professor A.V. right from 1992. I was working in CRR at the time. And then I moved to Ministry of Science. And of course, the interest is about geotechnical aspects of highways. And it's always fascinating, as you all pointed out, that his personality is so encompassing. He inspires everybody. So he always has a lot of questions on geotechnical aspects and relevance, and a lot of questions on practice and how whatever we do in geotechnical engineering, how can it be more applied? Say, like, for example, we have been talking about pavement drainage, then the design methods. We discussed a lot on many things. And I find that most of the discussions that I had with him, of course, everybody had the same feeling, that even with Professor Rajiv here, so we had very, very illuminating discussions. And I know everybody talked about his vast contributions. No doubt about it. He was examiner for some of my students, asking wonderful questions. And everybody wondered, whenever I visit his room, I think first room, I never saw any place so clean as that. I mean, there are so many people whom I met, professor means, I think, full of files and papers of first manuscript reprints too. I find it amazing. And I think I would like to thank him for being such a nice friend. And at the same time, so he has been so effective. He contributed significantly. I think I have not seen a person who can contribute so effectively, being an academic, but more, aspiring to practical needs of the country. Salutations to Professor A.V. I mean, continue your journey. I think retirement is just a small stop for you. Just want to recollect. We want to just say hello to each other and nothing else. Give us opportunities every 10 years. That's we have been doing, like for Justo, we have been doing, right? Say one good thing that I had was that he always comes to Bangalore. We always chat, and he has a collection of friends here. And I think he put me in one of those lists, and any geotechnical things, I think we always discuss. God bless you, A.V. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Babu. I'm sure that we'll meet again in Bangalore, also in the NRID meetings. I'm sure that we can develop manuals, guidelines, best practices. It's always a pleasure to work with you. We look forward to work with you in the years to come as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As we all know, Professor Veeraragavan is very famous in the industry as well. So we have invited very few of his industry partners to share their well wishes with Professor Veeraragavan. So first of all, I'll request D.P. Gupta ji, former Director General MOT, to please share a few words with Professor A.V.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Respected and honorable participants, let me start with a doha from Ramayana. This is number 70 in Ayodhya Kand. It says, Mat Pita Guru Swami, Sikh Sir Dharhi Karhi Subhai, Lehu Labh Tin Janam Kar, Natru Janam Jag Jai. Translated into English, it broadly means that you should hold in esteem the teachings and guidance from your parents, teachers, and swamis. This is the main purpose of life. So, dear and respected Veeraragavan ji, I would like to bow before you on this occasion, which you have well earned, as several dignitaries here have spoken about your outstanding achievements, I join them in conveying my congratulations to you. Your deep and wide knowledge and understanding on payments helped the IRC in formulation and updating of several codes on payments design and construction, apart from continued support to National Rural Infrastructure Development Agency in evaluation of research proposals being received from IITs, NITs, and state-level training and research centers. Sir, in addition to several awards and rewards earned by you, I am glad that you were recipient of Jawaharlal Nehru Birth Centenary Award from the IRC for your outstanding contribution in the field of highway engineering. Sir, let me digress for half a minute. This was constituted in my time when I was Secretary General IRC. And both me and President and our honorary treasurer, the DGRD then, three of us agreed that reward should be given not to senior persons, but to young professionals who have contributed to the profession, both academic and field. So I am personally very, very delighted for Veeraragavan ji to have been blessed with this honor. Being in academia, sir, you are, and you have been creating national assets in the form of research scholars. You have seen today how many research scholars you have produced, and they are our national assets. Apart from professional achievements, I always found you amiable and humane at heart. I join our gathering today to express our best wishes on this farewell function and pray for your welfare. You have now joined our tribe of superannuated people. I don't say retired people. Retired is retired. Tire ko retired kar diya. So retire is not tired. So you have to say I am not tired. I am only retired. And no, don't say I am retired. Say I am superannuated as the function says today. So this is what I would like to say, that you continue guiding the academia and the industry with your vast knowledge at your command. Thanks to faculty of IIT Madras, especially Professor Surinder Singh, for arranging this event and permitting me to share my thoughts. Guru ke charanon mein meri preet ho. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your blessings. It's always a pleasure working with you. I'm sure in NRIDA, we will work together in the years to come. I always look forward. It has always been a pleasure to work with you, and we will continue to work together for the NRIDA. Thank you very much for your time to spend with us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Esther Malini, who is a General Manager in L&T IDPL Chennai, to share her well-wishes. Dr. Malini.
Yes. Good evening, and good evening, Professor Veeraragavan. I consider it a great privilege to be invited to participate in this meeting and also share a few words in this occasion. Our association dates back to 1978, when you were a student in IIT Madras and I was a schoolgirl there. And you were one of my father's illustrious students, and that's how my sister and I remember you. And I have known you as Professor Victor's student, then Professor Justo's student, and later on, you were an illustrious professor in the Bangalore University and then in IIT. Till then, probably we did not have any professional interaction. Till I started interacting with you when I joined L&T. And if I have to say three qualities that I would like to learn from you, imbibe, and internalize it for myself, is I have seen your passion for work and the fierce dedication you show to your students. I have seen this personally as we co-guided a student recently, and also how you were so interested in having an association, that students had an association with people in the field. So that was a very unique streak that I thought a professor or a teacher would insist upon the students having exposure to the field. So that's something very unique, and I really appreciated that. And I think your students will value that very much, although they may not know the value of it while they are in college or in the institute, but probably when they go out, they will understand the value of it. The second point is your the way you are very practical in your approach. I've sat with you in many board meetings in our company boards, and I've seen you asking very incisive questions. And whenever we came to you for solutions, the solutions were very practical, and you knew a balance between research orientation and a practical orientation. That's something I really appreciate and also want to learn that from you. And the third one that I would like to mention here is that you're very approachable, and uh, be it to a student or to a senior management in an in a professional organization. That is not very easy. It comes with I see that as part of the inbuilt or ingrained humility that you have kind of you exhibit in your style. So, Professor Avi, I would like to wish you all the very best in your next phase, which I'm sure is going to be more busy than your earlier phase in IIT Madras. And I look forward to meeting you in our board meetings, and I look forward to coming to you with problems in our roads and finding solutions jointly. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Esther. I think it's always, I know you from as a schoolgirl for more than 44 decades. I think you are still in office. So
yes.
Thinking that you are busy, I requested you to share a recorded message, but you are particular that you wanted to talk live. It's always a wonderful pleasure listening to you. I'm sure that we'll, and Esther is an adjunct professor at IIT Madras. I'm sure that we'll work together and bring up the students level to a much higher level. It's always a pleasure to work with L&T and you in particular. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
I look forward to the next opportunity to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I request Dr. P.S. Reddy, former Deputy Director, CRRA, to share his.
Very good evening to all. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, very good evening to all. At the outset, I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to share a few of my reminiscences or experience with Professor Veeraragavan. I know all friends have talked about his professional capabilities and achievements. I don't have to say further on it because I would like to share my personal experience with him and also my observations on him. I first probably came to know Professor Veeraragavan when Professor Justo used to visit Delhi, CRRI for various meetings or even for meetings in the ministry as the coordinator of the R6 project. It's better to describe Professor Justo as Guru Dronacharya and Veeraragavan as Arjun, who has been trained. And probably I've also seen Professor Veeraragavan carrying out the legacy of Professor Justo. Grooming the students. And very recently, when Professor C.G. Swaminathan, former director of CRRI, passed away, we held a homage online meeting. Me and Veeraragavan, we instantly, I mean, both of us at one voice, at one time we said, I think we should organize something, and we organized it. And within 4 days, he could muster, I mean, all the required infrastructure to organize the meeting and conduct the meeting very effectively. And it was a very nice reminiscence of Professor Swaminathan. Without his help, it could not have been done. Other than this, I mean, everybody has given credit to Professor Veeraragavan. I think Professor Veeraragavan is what he is because of Mrs. Veeraragavan. I mean, I happened to stay in his house for almost maybe 10 days during a project we were doing in Bangalore. I wanted to stay in a hotel when I was on official duty, but both of them didn't allow me to go to a hotel. I stayed with them. I mean, I enjoyed their hospitality. And Professor Veeraragavan, like any other research scholar, used to be more or less, I mean, most of the nights he used to be away almost. And the great lady who has supported him deserves all the credit, I believe. And the other day when I was talking to him, I overheard him and in one of the gatherings saying that I have disposed of all my journals and then I've given away all my journals. Then immediately I thought, because he doesn't need journals, you know, in olden days, gurus never had any books or any CDs or any computers where they stored their speeches or learned from them. Everything, even Vedas were all, I mean, recited. They were all in the brains of the gurus. So probably now he has got everything in his brain. And I'm sure he also said, I mean, I would not like to be involved in any of the professional, probably, I mean, what he meant was for gainful employment or something like that. But I'm sure he'll be available for the professional contribution to see that, I mean, the country prospers and the young generation who are going to come up are going to be very useful to the country. And at the end, I would wish him very, very peaceful and healthy life ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reddy. It's a long association for more than nearly 5 decades.
Yeah, she is here.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Now I request Shri Bharat Pradhan, Director Technical, National Rural Infrastructure Development Agency, New Delhi. Pradhan sir, are you there? Okay.
Yes, I am here, but my video is not running. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you, sir. I cannot see you.
But I don't know why my video is not coming.
Sir, I can talk, sir. We can hear.
Yes, sir. I can talk very well. So,
yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody present during this workshop dedicated on the occasion of superannuation of Professor Veeraragavan ji. I extend my thanks to Dr. Surinder Singh for inviting me to this August occasion to share my view of the experience before this today's workshop. In fact, it is very difficult and impossible to express my feelings and experience with him within stipulated, limited, allocated time. Any words in expressing this will be too less. Really, the experience is great with him. Professor Veeraragavan is a familiar name amongst the highway engineering fraternity, not only in India, but across the international forum. An outstanding personality with smiling and pleasing face. Everybody is approachable to him very easily. Whenever anybody approaches him, he is very positive, he is very responsive, and his approach is very positive. Anybody can approach at any point of time. So I really feeling very happy with with the experience with him. His association with PMGSY for development of rural roads of the nation since beginning of the scheme is quite significant and memorable. He says never no to any kind of request to extend his consent to render any support sought from him by NRIDA in any occasion. Many of the examples, there are many examples. Without intimating him, we made our program and subsequently we request him to participate to deliver his valuable lectures in such occasions. He, without hesitation, he has accepted our request unconditionally. Whenever he finds difficulty, he politely requests you, please adjust some time because of his pre-scheduled engagement. So it is a really great personality of him. He is always free and frank to express his view with us and helping NRIDA in giving value addition to its functioning. It may be technical, it may be executive body committee, it may be advisory committee, it may be evaluation of research projects, etc. He is very clear on his concept in advising us from time to time whenever we sought his help. Really, we are thankful to him. I have my special respect towards Professor Veeraragavan, and I hope he shall continue to extend his support to us in future also. Already he has agreed to take up some assignment in evaluation of some projects sponsored by NRIDA, and I think after retirement he will give more time towards us so that we can proceed ahead for the development of the nation in a better way. Time is very short. Now we are getting delayed somehow or other. So I wish all the best for his retirement life and remain healthy, happy, and happy with his family. As Mr. D.P. Gupta, he is our so-called now Dronacharya of the road fraternity, retired DG MORTH, has already expressed many of his good deeds with a lot of experience with Professor Veeraragavan. With this, I conclude my remarks and I hope in future, Professor Veeraragavan, although retired, he will not be tired and he will extending his all technical inputs, whatever he has gathered, a vast knowledgeable person so far as the road fraternity is concerned. With this, I conclude my remarks. Thank you very much, the organizer, as well as the Professor Veeraragavan. I again conclude my talk with extending my best wishes to you for your retirement life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pradhan. Mr. Pradhan is the Director Technical of NRIDA. There is no retirement for the assignments of NRIDA. I am sure that, like Mr. D.P. Gupta, I'll also be associated in the years to come for improving the quality of rural roads in the country in the years to come. Sir, I'm sure I look forward to working with you in the years to come to upgrade the rural roads to a better quality. Thank you.
I cannot forget the positiveness you have expressed in taking the leading of the performance evaluation of two new technology was waste plastic and cold mist technology pan-India basis under your leadership, which is almost completed and concluded. So this is really great experience with you in working with you. So thank you very much, Professor Veeraragavan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Now I request Captain Dodihal, former Engineer-in-Chief, Karnataka PWD. Captain Dodihal, are you there?
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening to all and good evening to Professor. I had given my recorded this one. Is it okay if I speak now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
problem in playing your video. I think you can talk. This may be simple.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Good evening to all and namaskar. The first incidents which I remember with Professor, it was the early days of PM Jaswai. I was part of the district unit and he was part of State Technical Agency of Karnataka. We were to do the core network and mark those roads. In a huge map, we had marked so many roads and it was very difficult to number them, to name them, give IDs to them. We were scratching our head. Suddenly, Professor said, let's start from north and go to the quadrants in the clockwise direction and mark the roads with a particular IDs. Suddenly, the problem which appeared to be very difficult, it became very logical and simple. Then we went to Professor Justo. Both of us explained to him the way which we are doing, and Professor Justo agreed immediately. When Professor Justo agreed, it appeared to me as if it was a BIS certification for us. Second time, he is a very industrious person. The reason I'm telling you, in those days, I invited him to come to my work site. He traveled 2 continuous night journeys to visit our district roadworks. He interacted with my engineers, spoke to plant operators, and discussed with the contractors in detail. Suddenly, the persons all became motivated because of his teaching, plus our industrious nature. We converted those roads extremely well. It so happened that the chief minister of our state, he happened to visit that road because he was told about this road only. And that time I was present there. I made a very famous statement which is quoted very often in Karnataka. I told Chief Minister, sir, you can travel on my road with a hot cup of tea and it will not spill in the entire journey. That kind of road we did because of some encouragement from Professor AV and some teaching from him and some teaching to those plant operators. Really, I thank you for that day. Third thing is, apart from being he is a professor, I feel he's a good student also. It so happened we were in Belgaum for a technical seminar. The professor and myself and Dr. Sita Ram Anjalulu, we all three went for a morning walk to the army golf course, of which I am a member. I explained him the irons, the drivers, putting and teeing off. I think that was the only time I spoke without a pause and he heard with a cause. On personal front, Professor AV and Professor AV and Dr. Justo, they were gracious enough to acknowledge my innovative camber boards and my innovative method of measuring the radius of horizontal curves of the existing roads. I thank you, both of you, and Professor Justo as well as Professor AV, they acknowledged in their publications also. I'm very sure Professor AV could achieve all these things only with the help of Mrs. AV and the family. Kudos to them, and we should all congratulate them also. The last word is, Professor AV, you're not AV, you're A to Z of highway engineering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain Dadihal. It has been a long journey. I think we have worked together. We have learned mutually. I practice what I have learned from you. Definitely, it is a pleasure to work with you. And definitely, we'll work together in the years to come as well.
Thank you. All the best for you.
Thank you.
Now I request Engineer Sakamma, former Executive Engineer, PWD Karnataka. Here have you.
As per the logo of IIT Chennai, Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja. It very well suits to our AV. And after hearing to all learned professors, what to speak, what not to speak, I'm a little bit confused. First of all, Veeraragavan, are you hearing me? Hello.
Yes, yes, Sakama, I'm hearing you. Please go ahead.
Shall I proceed?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Vanakkam. Namaste. Good evening to all online participants of PEARS International Workshop. Professional journey with Dr. AVR started in the year 1990 at Gnanabharati campus, that is summer school sponsored by the ISTE and organized by UVCE Highway and Transportation Engineering faculties. This schooling continued training, workshops, seminars, etc. to participate at various places all over India during my official capacity while serving Karnataka Public Works Department, Government of Karnataka. Presently, even after my superannuation during 2005, still I'm having interest to participate and continuing. Age is not the criteria, Mr. Veeraragavan. Age is not the criteria. Barrier, it is not at all a barrier to our profession. That is mindset. As long as we are in good health, having patience, hard work, dedicated to take care of payments with latest technology, know-how to road users. Your PhD includes here. In this context, we all have to agree Dr. Engineer AVR is one amidst us. Apart from this, as an IRC, ISTE, etc., life member of various professional organizations, I used to see our AVR participation in sharing the knowledge, latest, that too updated with facts and figures. With facts and figures, why I'm stressing, just like that, he never used to come. He used to come with facts and figures. The rare quality, what I experience is way of teaching, interaction with students exclusively while conducting laboratory tests and implementing an experimental and select stretches, getting clearance from IRC council meetings and MORT approval to reach respective state and central government to incorporate in the standard specifications, inclusive of schedule of rates for easy way to carry out the work by contraction. This is most needed vital point even now also. As an academician, I'm stressing you, as an academician, well talented to convince, especially with bureaucrat and technocrat, field engineers and workplace to convince. Students of AVR are having high regard and respect, that to serving all over India. My visit to Leh Ladakh, Border Road Organization and Tehri Hill Road, etc., they were so happy and admired, remembering AVR in their college days. And more than that, we are in SMS era. You, Veeraragavan, we see Engineering College, name and fame of Dr. Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, taken to greater heights in the respective fields, achieving laurels. To express laurels and achievements and recognition of Dr. AVR, time needs lot of time is needed. However, very few points, since I was not a regular student, I'm not in a teaching faculty, I'm not a professor. Whatever I have observed, whenever I have attended to your this thing, I've just a second, I will wind up. Very few points which I experienced associating with learned professor. Started with PMS. I will stress that PMS in Gnanabharati campus. Today, amidst international and the workshop, international online workshop, pavement engineering of road safety, theory to practice. That is in PEARS, short form PEARS. Like popular PEARS soap, we should provide smooth pavement surface to road users. For this, AVR sir, we need your continued guidance and support with your vast experience. Thanks to PMMS and PEARS team. Thank you one and all. AVR, God bless you. Always, I would like to see you like this and let us have an interaction with family members.
Thank you, Sakama. Thank you. Nice to see you.
One more thing is, especially organizers who has given me the time. Most probably, I am the last person as per my name. Enough, Amma. I am going to stop it at this junction.
Sakama is enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I request our faculty colleagues from IIT Madras to share their well wishes with Professor AV. So I request you can raise your hands and then one by one you can share. Yep. Faculty colleagues from IIT, you can raise your hands and then maybe one by one you can go ahead. I'll start as per my screen. I'll start with Professor Koshi.
Yeah, thank you, Surinder. I join everyone in greeting Professor Veeraragavan on this occasion. I think this is, like you said, superannuation, and we are really going to miss Professor Veeraragavan after he leaves IIT Madras. But we are not there yet. He's going to be with us, thankfully, for some more time, till next year. But I would just like to look back on the various ways he's supported the institute. I'm not going to talk much about his engineering unit because I see Professor Robinson will also be covering that, but his support for the institute activities has just been phenomenal. And you can see the campus today. If any one of you come to our campus, you'll see an international campus with several facilities, and most of these are possible because I think, as we mentioned, Professor Veeraragavan is chairing so many committees on campus which enable these services to happen. I'll specifically talk about the guest house, which is one of his activities which he supported me on, where we have been able to bring in professional services. And this has come mainly because of his persistence. I think many of you have mentioned his eye for detail, his demand for quality, his punctuality, his persistence. All these qualities, I think the Institute has benefited from. And because of his easygoing attitude, to be able to talk to anyone, to be able to go to any level to get things done for the benefit of the Institute and for society. So Professor Veeraragavan has been a tremendous support for us in the Institute, for me personally as Dean Administration, for me as a colleague in civil engineering. I have always interacted with him on many professional issues. We have been on the board of some of the L&T SPVs, had, as Dr. Estemalli mentioned, had extensive discussions on Indian road system, and that's been my exposure to him on the road, on his other side, which is the professional side, or the transport and the pavement side. There again, his contributions to the companies have been phenomenal. And it is just, I think, Professor Veeraragavan, we are sure that you will continue to contribute. We look forward to you continuing to interact with us, continuing to contribute professionally, continuing to be a part of this institute. Thank you so much for all your support, and all the best to you and your family.
Thank you, Koshi, for the wonderful words. We look forward to work together again. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So the next person on my screen is Professor Shivanandan. Professor Shivanandan. Okay, I think he's having some issue. So next one is Professor Robinson. Professor Robinson.
Thank you. Yeah. So thank you, Surinder, for giving this opportunity. I met Professor Veeraragavan for the first time in December 2003 at Taramani Guest House, dining hall. It's the day before the faculty selection interview. We joined in 2004, I as assistant professor and Professor AV as professor in IITM. I had a good interaction with him for the past several years. Many times I go to his room for getting some references. His room is always maintained sparkling clean, as Professor Shivakumar Babu mentioned. And the books are very well organized and arranged. He knows where the books or references are arranged and pick them up in no time. I had several interactions in DC meetings. He come prepared for the DC meetings after thoroughly reading the DC report and give right comments. I don't know how he gets such a time to read meticulously the DC reports. So that benefits the students a lot. Always he asks the questions, you are all civil engineers, what is the practical relevance of your study? So whatever fundamental research you do, he always expects the student to say some practical applications of the research. That's one quality of Professor Veeraragavan. For the past 4 years, I had more interaction with him for the works related to engineering unit. Today morning, our HOD sent a mail about faculty work assignments. Against Professor AV's name, there were only 7 assignments as chairman of various institute committees. Probably about 10 more committees or membership were missed out in that. So name any important committee, there Professor Veeraragavan will be there. And his advices are very, very useful to us. He has shouldered several responsibilities of engineering unit and executed them meticulously. One of the best examples is the housekeeping in our institute. He spent lots of time, advised our engineers over the years, and helped us to prepare a performance-based contract document, and the model is working extremely well. If any of you come to our corridors or the departments, you will see the toilets are very well cleaned. The corridors are sparkling clean. And every month we used to have a review meeting, our committee meeting. Professor Veeraragavan spends a lot of time going to the sites, giving the suggestions. And if the contractor does a good work, he pat them. If they are doing a bad work, he never hesitate to find them. So such a thing helped to maintain the contract very good. And one thing I would like to say is the document which he helped us to prepare is a model for many other institutions. Recently, many other institutions are taking that as a role model, and we are helping them out, all because of Professor Veeraragavan's continuous effort on that. I can keep on talking about his meticulous work, like IIT Madras road work, several architect selections, TPQA, the third-party quality assurances, traffic management, the in-gate and out-gate integration, etc. So only a few days back, we opened the in-gate and out-gate, and he spent a lot of time. So he used to go for a walk early morning, probably 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he send a WhatsApp message in the group, road work, what are the flaws, and if there is some good thing, he appreciates. So that's the quality Professor Veeraragavan has. He insists on quality. He was very firm to cancel a road contract recently, as the contractor could not meet our quality requirements. So we had to wait for 2 months to get a new contract, but Professor Veeraragavan was very, very specific, and particular that the quality should be good. He keep on telling the same thing to our engineers and mentor them many times. I received several valuable advices that has helped me surviving in the engineering unit. So thank you, sir, for all the helps and advices, and wish you and your family all the very best. I'm sure you will help us in the future as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ravisan. It's always a pleasure to work with engineering unit. It's 10 years by now. Still, I haven't continuing. There is no retirement or superannuation for that assignment. Definitely, we'll be there to help you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. But I request you to take over all my chairman's position after my retirement.
Sure, sir. Okay.
Next, I can see is Professor Murli.
Surinder, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Surinder, for meticulously organizing this. In fact, Professor AV and I joined more or less together. I joined in June 2004. He joined just a month before that. And we are neighbors for the last 17 years from 2004. And we have taught courses together. We have worked together on many projects. We have co-advised many students. And I can say this without any hesitation. If the pavement engineering group at IIT Madras is now well known in the country, AV has has made a significant contribution related to that. Because if you before 2004, in the country, if you see, you are going to see only probably IIT Kharagpur or maybe to some extent IIT Kanpur. But if the entire direction changes towards IIT Madras, especially when it comes to pavement engineering, AV has had a stellar role here. And in fact, that is what Robinson also mentioned. He has this knack of leading the student to think through his very sharp questioning. I have seen it in the last 17 years when we have sat together in many meetings, MTech, PhD, MS, even undergraduate dual degree meetings. I have traveled with Sir for many meetings, presentations, and I have personally witnessed the reverence, the admiration many of the colleagues in pavement engineering across the country had. And in fact, most of them would have been his students, or even students. In fact, whenever this is an example, whenever we conducted, both of us conducted many short-term programs. So whenever we conduct this AICTC, CCE or CEP program, many of his former students, they may be HODs, they may be deans, so they will meticulously come and register for this program and attend this 5 days program. And in fact, once I asked HOD saying that, what is that you are coming here for? You are such a senior person. So then he was kind of shocked, saying that, how can you ask this when AV sir is giving this talk? So he says, anytime I listen to him, I learn something or the other new. And one important thing, at least as his neighbor for 17 years, and one important takeaway advice that at least I will have for all my younger colleagues and my colleagues at IIT Madras is few things. One is, office is spotlessly clean, clockwork timing for entry and exit. You can time your watch on when he goes for lunch and when he is back on office. And all the emails will be promptly replied within few hours. Sometimes I used to really wonder whether he always carries email with him. And there will be nothing that will be pending from his side. If there is something pending, that will be only from our side. And I can just keep going on and on because, we have been doing things together for many years. And someone like, person like AV and all, they don't retire or they don't superannuate. And in fact, after this, this is one stage. Now you are going to see him a lot more vigorous, a lot more hardworking than most of us here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Murli. It has been always a wonderful pleasure to work with you for the last 13 years. I'm sure that I survived you and Atul in pavement engineering. Because we are not the South Poles, you are on theory, I am on practice. Definitely we work together to connect theory to practice. It has been a pleasure to work with you. Thank you. We look forward to work together in the years to come as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Professor Shivanandan?
Yeah. I apologize. I'm having some problem with the video camera. So at least my audio is clear. So shall I go ahead with the... Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, something set up.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I have known Professor Veeraragavan, Professor AV, as I fondly call him, for a long time as a colleague and friend. Most of what I want to say have been told by others, so I'll keep it brief, and also it's running late, so I'll be brief. Now, he's one of the individuals who, in my belief, is a well-rounded academic, who is good not only in teaching and research, but also in application of research to practice. One of his distinguishing characteristics that I appreciated very much is that he had expertise not only in pavement engineering, but also in traffic engineering. Now, this was rather rare, actually. He is well known in his field in India as well as internationally. His professional accomplishments are awesome. I had the fortune of working with him on a few projects, including the in-out gate of IIT Madras. And I used to very much appreciate his pragmatic approach on these
project. As a person, he's a very fine individual with pleasing manners and is very, very approachable. He has a very helping attitude. Being a neighbor in office, I used to visit his room and discuss on a range of issues. He had clear vision on every aspect. I will very much miss him. I wish him well, and may God give him good health and happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Siva. It's always a pleasure to work with you. Definitely will continue the relationship in the years to come as well. Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry for
It's okay, it's okay. Yeah.
Next one is Atul. Atul, can you hear us?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I would like to start with something what was not mentioned by others about Professor Avi, his payment management systems course. I've heard from multiple people that this is the best course in the country and probably the best in the world. One of my regrets has been that I have not been able to take this as a student. But I was fortunate enough to accompany him in one of the field trips he takes his students in this particular course. So there I saw, how well he works. In fact, it was a field trip for the students, but at the same time, it was an inspection for a particular company. It was an inspection of a highway. And we were just driving around on the highway, and he could detect defects here and there. This is a newly constructed highway, and he could easily identify so many defects in the payment. And not only that, he was immediately able to suggest solutions, rehabilitation procedures, everything very quickly, right? So this actually shows, I mean, his experience, his vast experience is there actually. But see, for me, I come from a mechanics background, and I could see that I could see the defects, but the solutions for those defects and things like that. So coming up with those solutions so quickly, I think it does not come from just knowing mechanics. It needs a lot more knowledge about this complex asphalt material, and that's where Professor Veeraragavan comes. He is so quick in judging the payment and coming up with solutions for it, right? So one of the things Professor Veeraragavan has always pointed out to me, he keeps on sending examples every now and then as to how the relationship between theory to practice is so important. So he sends emails, WhatsApp messages, all showing examples of how, if you don't actually consider how things are occurring in the field, and you are only concentrating on material characterization, how it can be futile in situations. So I really thank him for that. I was able to redirect my research to an extent based on his advice, based on his mentorship towards relating theory to practice. And I again thank him for that. So, and many have mentioned how great his book collection is, and he was generous enough to donate all of them to me. And I thank Professor Veeraragavan for that as well. Okay, thank you so much for mentoring me. And finally, I would like to say there are many before me who said, this is just a formal step. Professor Veeraragavan would never retire because he is required in a lot of projects. He will be working, and I really hope that he continues to work even after his retirement, because I really have a lot more to learn from him. Thank you, Professor Avi.
Thank you, Atal. It's nice to always to work. I think definitely we already started a new project with Sen Gobind.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we will continue to work together in the years to come as well. We'll connect theory to practice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I request Professor Karthik.
Yeah. Okay, good evening and good morning to all participants in different time zones. Thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to express my deepest respect and reverence to Professor Veeraragavan for all that he has accomplished. I think I cherish and admire his contributions to theory, practice, research, and to network and institutional building. I think this is one of his greatest accomplishments, and I vote you on all these accomplishments. I'd like to remember a few aspects. Okay, the first one is that he's a master teacher. There isn't anyone who's attended his class who's not been inspired by him. And more than that, when he's interacting with research scholars, I found him to be we've co-guided and done a few projects together. I found him to be a very firm but very kind research supervisor. Yes, I've not ever seen him angry at any point in time, during his interactions with anybody. So that is the second thing I can remember. The third one, which probably came out at different points, is that I could probably call him as a tech evangelist. Anything new technology, he wants to apply it and get it seen and see the light of day so that people can benefit from it. So he's quick and wants to apply latest developments into practice. And the fourth one that I can remember in the interest of time is that he's the one who you can take as a living example of, say, practice whatever you preach. And that's something that I've learned from him, and that's something I wish to take it forward. So we seek your blessings on this occasion of your superannuation, sir, and wish you the very best for all your endeavors. We look forward to your guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. It has been a pleasure to co-guide students. I think I also learned many things from you to connect theory to practice. I'm sure that even though I superannuate, definitely we'll work together in the years to come as well. Thank you.
Sir, we have many messages. Okay, so from faculty colleagues, okay, they are saying that because of the time constraint, because we are already running late, so they don't want to speak, they want to type. So they already posted their messages in the chat box. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah. Shall we go ahead? Yeah.
Okay. So after this,
there's no more, I think. No more hands.
No hands are there, but yeah, they are messaging me. They are saying that the duration was of only 3 hours. Should they speak or not? Then I told them, okay, you can send your wishes through email or the other source. Yeah. In fact, I too wanted to speak many things, but yeah, I think.
I think it's 9:15. I think it's 9:15. I think it's time that to wind up. So I think I'll conclude by words. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Siva.
Yeah. Now is my camera on?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. I am
Nice to see
really
you.
sorry. Something didn't work set up properly because we really don't use Zoom much. I don't use.
Ananda, nice to see you. This is Dr. Reddy.
Yeah.
Dr. Reddy, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Okay, great. Okay, again, Mr. A.V., I wish you good luck, good health, and also, continue our association in whatever form. But we will keep in touch, and I wish you the best, all the best. I'm sorry for this bigger break, something I probably didn't activate properly. And so, again, good luck.
Thank you, Siva.
So the next event is it's you.
I will tell Surendra. So we have a long list of students. I had a long tenure of 4 decades. I have thousands of students. When we requested the students and their friends to register for this event, more than 500 registered. Nearly 200 attended the event today. And more than 200 of the participants wanted to speak. So we found that it is impossible for the 200 students to participate. So we have planned the second event on the Teachers' Day, 5th of September, 2021 at 4 p.m. Meet the Teacher. So I thought that that will be the right opportunity for all my students to meet me, discuss. So we thought that who are students who wanted to talk today, we are pushing them to the 5th September 2021 event. I apologize for not giving them an opportunity to talk. Definitely, it would have been a great pleasure to listening to you again. But definitely, if not today, we'll meet again on 5th of September, and then I will listen and we'll interact. So before 9:30, I wish that this event closes. We promised to close the event at 9 o'clock. I think let me talk with Professor Zohail, Professor Neeraj, Professor Sigdar, Professor Manu, the organizers of the event, Dr. Surender, Dr. Geeta, Dr. Atul, and Selvam. Dear international friends, friends from the industry, friends from sister academic institutions, students, colleagues, friends from IIT Madras and other invitees, I have no words to express my deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to you for your time to share your rich experiences and the reminiscences of our long association as a teacher, friend, professional, guide, mentor, and advisor. I'm most grateful and feel honored for the kind and generous words spoken about me by you all. I thank all those who are present during the event, but could not speak and share their thoughts due to time limitations. Definitely, we have made a second event for you to meet and talk. I kindly request you to join the 5th of September on a Sunday at 4 o'clock, and definitely you will be given an opportunity to talk. At this juncture, I would like to thank my professor, Dr. Justo, who shaped up my career as a friend, philosopher, guide, and mentor. He was holding my hand when I started working 40 years back in the profession, when I joined the Bangalore University in 1981. We were jogging together and running together for 2 decades along the length and across the width of the highways in different parts of the country. So he taught me to relate theory to practice of pavement engineering that enabled me to walk straight into IIT Madras directly as a professor holding a PhD from a Indian state university. Perhaps I may be the last candidate to get into IIT Madras Department of Civil Engineering holding a PhD from an Indian state university. When I heard the comments of the students, I think I have heard many times, interacted with them. I infer that what they remember is the personal relationship more than the academic teaching. Arkatkar recalled some of the academic teaching that he learned. The lessons learned in the class may be useful in the profession or may not be useful, but the life lessons that are learned in the class will definitely be useful. People may not remember what you said. People may not remember what you did, but definitely what you can learn is that people will always remember how you made them feel. The intriguing classroom discussions, interactions beyond the classrooms fill the hearts with pride, satisfaction, and happiness. As I talk to you today, I exude joy and feel glad to have chosen the profession of teaching, wherein I got the chance to make a difference and change people's lives for better, and shaping their younger minds to a great feeling of satisfaction and the services I have rendered to the institute, to the country, in building sustainable and long-lasting highway pavements and infrastructure, as well as in the form of rural roads, by introducing new materials, equipment, technology will ever be remembered. I strongly believe the teacher should be a strong communicator. He should pitch the level of teaching to the grasping level of the students, and moreover, teaching what is expected with the student rather than expecting the student to learn what all we know. That's where many of the teachers fumble. We expect the students to have the same knowledge as we have. If I like pavement management, I want every student of mine to be a pavement management expert. He may not be interested. Similarly, the teacher should adapt to changes in the attitude and the interest of the students. With the generations, the interests of the students are different. We cannot keep on teaching what we were teaching 20 years back. He has got a role to play beyond the classroom as a mentor, guide, friend, advisor, philosopher, and many times as a counselor. Teachers should show empathy and patience and teach the students that to connect theory to practice for better understanding of the concepts, principles, and application of the classroom lessons. The role of teacher extends beyond the classroom. As many have mentioned, I have been in touch with many of the students, and all my PhD MS students, I have been in touch with them. Many of them have become my family friends. And I feel that why they considered to be good is because of the fact that I'm always available. Many times I ask them questions when they post different questions from personal life to academic to research. I always used to ask them, do you think I'm a Google? They say yes. In the profession, you're a Google, you have to answer us. So if I know, I tell the answer. If I do not know, I ask somebody else and get them the answer. In the process, I also learn. I find that in this world, as Murali was mentioning, I find that this world, no one is busy. It's all about priorities. You always will find time for the things that you feel are important. If you don't reply to your email, if you don't return your calls, it doesn't mean that you're great. I think that's why I made it a policy to reply all emails. At the end of the day, when I retire, all my inbox is empty. Was I successful in the profession is a question that will be posed. It also asks the incidental question, how do you measure success? I feel when I look back 40 years, I think I have fairly good satisfaction of whatever I have delivered in the profession. As a teacher, as a researcher, as a consultant, as a professional. We feel salary and job define success. I do not believe in that. But unfortunately, in institutes, we define success through Scopus Index publications, H-Index, citations, citation per paper, consultancy projects, research projects, their value, and the money. I strongly believe that we are not respected for the academic credentials. I always tell, only in my corridor, I'm a professor, Professor AV. When I go to other corridor, they think that I'm a transportation faculty. Only in my corridor, I'm a pavement faculty expert. In the other, I'm a transportation faculty. When I get down to the ground floor, I become a civil faculty. When I walk in the road, I'm like anybody else. An attender and me are both on the same. There is no pride in ego in telling that I am great in this profession. My measure of success is good physical and mental health, liking what I do, spending time with my family and friends, contribution to a society that will enable improving the quality of the life of the people. I always believe the research should be practice-oriented, industry-based. At the end, when you do your research, I should be able to change the existing code of practice, modify the course of practice, or bring out a new course of practice. In fact, when I did my study in 80s, I evaluated 83 test tracks constructed in different states of the country, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Goa. Evaluated them, constructed test tracks, again evaluated the performance. With the result, I developed design charts for the design of overlays. That was way back in 89. It became a code of practice IAS 81, and from then onwards, there is no looking back. That is why I'm in all IAS committees of flexible payment, composite payment, concrete payment, specific and standards committee. They are not able to leave me. I used to ask my teacher, why academicians are in these technical committees? He said, only academicians knows the state-of-the-art practices. He has to guide and correct the draft of the thesis as of the reports of practice so that it is without any mistakes. I think the work beyond teaching earns much more respect in the society. Job titles, position, and salary are immaterial. Good relationship, compassion, peace of mind are much more important than achievement, award, degrees, position, or money. The thought of leaving the institute is indeed hard to accept, but inevitable. Today is my last day at IIT Madras as a professor, but I'm re-employed and I got the order already. From tomorrow, again, I continue to be a professor. So my job role does not change. My duties and responsibilities do not change. The services which I'll render to the institute, to the students will never change. The long journey of 41 years is filled with learning experiences every day. In the process, I became a student too, as I got to learn many things from my students. I always cherish the relationship between the mentor and the mentee. A teacher becomes a teacher because of his students. I am grateful to them. We together have made this experience worth remembering. Talking about my family, my parents taught me of human values, to respect other human beings, even animals, and more about their respect to the elders. They taught me to be humble, compassionate, loving, and caring. I firmly believe that the discipline taught to me was the foundation of my entire career, success, and I follow the same diligently till date. And that has earned the respect from my students and colleagues. I lost my father when I was 32 years old, but he taught me the fundamentals of civil engineering. He happened to be a highway engineer. I'm a highway engineer. My son is a highway engineer. Perhaps the gene is a highway engineering. The blood is flowing through the highway engineering. He taught me the civil engineering applications. I was a student of engineering from following my father, who was also a civil engineer. My mother too stayed with us till her last, and she guided me the values of human relationship. I should not forget to thank my wife Sasikala for all her understanding, cooperation, support, love, care, and sacrifices during this long journey of 36 years after our marriage. My loving and caring sons, Ramanan and Ravkumar, and my daughters-in-law, Archana and Arti, constitute our small family. I'm sure that I can pull on during the rest of my life without any commitments, enjoying spending time with my family, and also contributing to the profession. Many of you attended both my sons' wedding receptions, blessed them in person. Many attended the lunch hosted by us as a mark of respect to my mother, who was a good host. So they all blessed and participated in both the events, and thank you for the same. There are no goodbyes. Wherever you all will be in my heart. People with good relationship live longer, happy, and healthy. A simple act of kindness can create ripples of happiness in someone's heart. We should leave footprints of kindness and love in each step of the journey, with a deep sense of gratitude and hope that all my students would be proud to say the name of the teacher, who is also their friend, philosopher, and guide. I leave the institution with a great feeling of satisfaction and contentment. In the end, I'd like to say thanks to all my student friends, international friends, industry friends, student friends from the sister institutions, colleagues, staff of the institute, and their families for their unending support and cooperation extended to us during the last 4 decades, and especially the last 17 years in the beautiful campus of IIT. When we bid adieu to the institute, we leave with sweet and rich memories of the days spent in this beautiful campus. I thank the team behind this today's event, Dr. Surender, Dr. Atul, Dr. Ramesh Kannan, Dr. Gita Krishnan, and Selvam, who spent hours and hours in making this event memorable, meaningful, and enjoyable. I thank one and all for your time, and we close exactly at 9:30. The time we wanted to have, half an hour is extended. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure that we had spent a nice time. We also enjoyed listening to you. Thank you very much for your time and sparing your valuable time and sharing with us your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. A.V.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
I want to say thank you to all the speakers, industry friends, and international friends. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, till now they are here, and I'm extremely sorry for the Professor A.V. students and those who shared their videos with us, but we could not play because of
No,
the time.
definitely all the videos and all the students who want to speak, definitely we can make a time. Samson is here. Samson will take care of that. On 5th of September, definitely we will meet and spend more time. It's happening to know that more than 175 people are still attending the event at 9:30 p.m. That shows the love, respect, and care they have been offering to me. I'm sure that we'll continue the relationship in the years to come. Superannuation retirement is only on records on paper. It doesn't anyway prevent me from working and enjoying the way I have been leading the life. My day starts at 5, ends at 10. I think it will continue even from tomorrow onwards. Sure, definitely we'll work together, meet together, love together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Professor Veeraragavan. I'm suggesting that we can take a screenshot, Surinder, if everyone turns on the camera. Can you do that?
Yes, sir, we can do that.
So maybe I again apologize. There was some setup problem. Now it's working okay.
Yeah. So Sigdar has to switch on his video.
Can we have everyone? Okay.
Yeah, yes, fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello, can you take?
My wife also is here.
I'll take a couple of screenshots more.
Yes.
If something bad happens.
Yes. Now we are together. Yeah.
Be close together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Radhakrishna Pillai is doing something, I think. He changed the settings.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. One more thing here. I'll take. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll share the clip.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nivedya.
Thank
We'll
you,
meet
sir.
again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Nivedya,
you.
we'll meet again. Yeah. Thank you, Geeta. Thank you, one and all, for your.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Bye
bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Veeraragavan. Very nice to organize.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Professor
Thank you.
Veeraragavan.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi, Professor Veeraragavan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Veeraragavan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Nivedya. We'll meet again.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Next
Thank you very much, sir.
Nakshatra. Hi. Evita, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sunita. We'll meet again on Saturday, Sunday.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Rakshu? Not talking. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Vivian, we will meet again.
Sure, sir. Definitely, sir. Definitely. Yeah, wish you both a long, happy, and peaceful retired life, sir.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll be meeting again and again.
Yeah, definitely. I think that somebody said that I have a 3-day event.
May not be enough, sir.
Teachers, friends, and students and industry participants. Yeah, sure.
Well organized.
Yeah.
And we will invite whoever want to join lesson. We will invite them, sir.
Yes.
I thought I'll be speaking at least in a few lines, but I could not get it.
It's 9:35. I think it's time. I think it's time that you have to write. Yeah.
We have read your mind.
Yeah.
But the point is not leaving now.
Thank you, Pillai, for staying till from the beginning. Bhargava. Yeah.
Good night, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night. Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. Shiva, Nagendra. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Karthik, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Good night, sir.
Captain, we'll meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. When I come again, we'll meet. Yeah.
Bye, sir.
Yeah. Bye.
Good night to all.
Good night, all. Good night.
Okay, Professor Veeraragavan.
Yeah.
Vanakkam, madam.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah. The world is small. We'll meet again.
Yes. Definitely. But you are an amazing professor, really.
Yeah.
Amazing person.
Yeah. Thank you. Selam, thanks a lot.